This story is not about heroes, for there are not heroes in Etharis, at least not for long. This is a tale of warning. Do not go into the forest at night. Do not tempt a storm at the sea. Do not wander off of the road for a sweet sound. Do not let nightfall catch you before you reach the next town. Do not wander alone or without your weapons. Cherish and clutch your silver. And if you meet someone after dark, do not speak with them, even if they call out to you, especially if they call out by your name. If you should find a large hole that leads deep into the earth and hear a voice from within pleading for mercy, hurry onward. This is a story of loss, endurance, survival. The light in the dark has long since gone out, and the people have yet to notice it fully. But even in the dark, predators and prey both lurk. This is a story of one of these, but which? Only time will tell. Remember, you are in Astoy now, and there is no word for mercy in our language. Welcome to Etharis. Will this morning be your last? Hello, Dark Watchers and player characters, and welcome to our premiere episode of Pact Tactics. I am your DM John, your storyteller, dungeon master, world carver. You all are part of the grim and hollow world of Etharis, where from the Ember Cairn in the south to the burning tundras to the north, light and hope are the greatest gifts you can find during the day. You are somewhere deep in the middle of that. You set out from Castellor, the mighty capital city of Rievo, deep within the Astoyan Empire. When you did, your group was 30 strong. The armored wagons seemed nigh impenetrable. Your leader, an elf named Felix, hired you all to help distribute some less than legal magical items across the border nearby Soma. A hard feat during good times. These aren't good times. For the lands and roads crawl with danger, and especially these days, during the civil war between the two states, it's almost suicidal. But the pay matches the danger. Whether you yourself join this band of misfits and miscreants for coin, adrenaline, or necessity is your business alone. Willing and strong, you set out to cross the border near Crow's Bend. But that was 2 weeks and 22 people ago. Through various mishaps, dangers, and, well, one very angry black dog, you 8 are all that have survived to your destination, that you reach today. Felix, coin secured in the last remaining armored wagon, eagerly gathers you up to make your way towards the next roadside inn before nightfall. Tilda and Daerden, the surviving 2 guards, keep watch of both the road and you all while you travel. Tilda's mighty sword arm and Daerden's unerring accuracy with a crossbow have fought side by side with you for a fortnight. You travel across the Soma countryside, keeping watch for beasts and creatures. The rolling hills are covered in a dreary fog, where the cold breeze this autumn warns of an early winter to come. As you huff and you puff, crossing the ups and downs of the poorly maintained dirt road ahead of you, the misty breath of the surviving 2 horses leaves little clouds in the air every time they exhale. Here in Soma, even high noon doesn't offer much sunlight, for Astoy is known as the land that begins where the light ends. Nightfall, however, is unmistakable. For the rotting dead rise from the ground and the wolves hunt, howling through the night. The relief of the day is a constant source of dread to come for when the moon rises. Eventually, Tilda points out a site that will act as a good camp for this evening. A cave with a single entrance, no inhabitants, and easily defensible. The damp air is thick with must and moisture, but it certainly beats sitting out in the open for the night. The cave walls are wet and moist, but the fire is warm. The stew is filling, and the night seems quiet. Throughout the evenings of this trip, you've usually been too busy at nights to be talkative. In the 2 weeks that you've traveled, outside of roadside cities and inns, this cave is probably the most comfortable you've been since you left Riego, since you left Castellor. Felix breaks the tension and says, "Yeah. Now, I know things didn't go quite as planned, but maybe we should have a little moment of remembrance for all the fallen, right? Like, that would be good. Well, Lady Vengeance would like that. Look, I'll go first, okay? Let's take a minute, and we're gonna remember poor old Siva, right? Siva never wandered off at night alone until that one night when she was on watch with you, Gavin. I mean, we weren't even able to recover her body. She just disappeared.
Truth be told, I have no idea as to why she would just wander off like a... She said something about hearing like a tune or whistling out in the dark.
Yeah, who knows, but Edward...
Well, what was that fellow's name? The one with the scar along his cheek? Bob? Billy? Bob, that's the one, yes. He tried to start up a conversation with me just 3 days ago, and you all remember the sudden gust of wind that came by, and all of a sudden, there was just boots left of Bob. Oh, he's...
Not even a sound.
He was... I don't even know what happened. I heard the...
Was that before... Sorry, Edward. Was that before or after the giant bat swept someone off? I forget.
I think that was after. We heard the bats coming. I remember that. No, this was more of a sudden disappearance. And just boots. Just boots.
Yes, poor fellow.
And then, of course, there was, what was it, June? I don't remember his name. He just keeled over one day. I believe it was a heart attack from my own personal view, but it was weird. He was perfectly healthy.
He was almost as big as that guy.
Yes, the bigger man. What was your name again? Norok?
No.
Terrible with names.
All you little people are so squishy. You should take care of yourselves. Watch what I do and repeat it.
Well, we all can't be built like an iceberg, can we?
Your care is duly noted, Norok. I still find one of the oddest disappearances of one of our persons. I believe his name was Leif the Lucky. Remember, he went running off towards a pond when we stopped. Said he saw a naked woman calling to him. Shortly thereafter, I heard the sounds of someone being drowned, I believe. Went to check and... well, his leg was floating in the water. Don't believe there was much left of the rest of him.
I'm just saying, pretty girls don't go to ponds. Am I right? I'm right.
Not usually in the middle of nowhere and without anything, really. Just around to defend them.
Tilda, she sits up as she polishes and uses the whetstone on her great sword. She says, "What about Jacob? He always had that feather in his hat. That feather that ended up in his neck during those bandits. The bandits with the balloons. They tried to take the whole wagon."
Yes, I remember that. It looked as though somebody had perfectly jammed it straight into his jugular. I remember this because it was a fascinating execution of it. But
I don't know what a jugular is, but it was in his neck pretty good.
I forget. I'm a little bit more well-read than you, but I suppose that's why you all hired me.
We are quite aware of your expertise, Edward, me more than probably anyone else. And you have been indubitably a great benefit to us. It's just too bad you weren't able to save Samuel when that... What was it you said it was? It was some sort of infection?
Yes. It was a terrible, terrible infection. It did nothing to be done, unfortunately. It's, yes, nothing to be done. Not at all.
There, then he says, yes, it's very weird because he just had the cold the day before. But then he died from an infection. It's terrible. He's just like Hector. You remember Hector? He was good dwarf until he fell into the pile of water moccasins in the river. Then he was purple dwarf.
Well, still, I did manage to add to my research notes on it, so it wasn't a total loss. I'm sorry, that was a bit crash, wasn't it? I said that out loud.
Really?
Mildly, yes.
I do think the hottest one to watch was... Liam. Poor boy died on the log.
To Liam.
You couldn't even make it a day.
Yeah, Fergus, he, always talking about who's fastest.
Well, he certainly was fastest into that.
Yes, those wolves did catch him very quickly.
Smart thing on your part, throwing him one of the leftovers.
Well, most wolves are just hungry. I learned that during the war. We tended to leave one of the more death-kissed people behind whenever we saw the pack hunting us. It stayed their hands and their jaws and their claws, at least for about 3 days.
Felix pipes up and says, "Now that we're talking, how's about a proper introduction, right? Like we're friends and not refugees or something? Yeah. I mean, you know, once we get back to Castellor, we're all gonna be rich. Never have to make another bonzo trip like this again. Right? So why don't we go ahead and do that?" Then the camera will go ahead and pan over to the biggest breath in the room. Narok, if you'd like to describe your character.
Arok is a Goliath barbarian. He is from the far north, where it is all tribal clans, elementals, and unknown ways of dying, and cold fire. He's on his trip south to make money and secure new land. And he will turn to the group, and I am Naruk. They call me the Beckist. Skull to all you.
Is there a particular reason why they are called the Bearkist?
And he takes his tunic and he opens it up, and there are claw mark scars down the front of his chest.
Ah, that would certainly be an explanation. I would be interested in hearing the story of it at some time.
Bear attacked me. I fought back.
Very concise story. I appreciate that.
Well, if nothing else, it looked like the scars healed quite well. Perhaps later you'd let me take a better look at them. Allow me to put down in my notes some more interesting points.
The camera pans over to the speaker, the interesting human. Why don't you describe what he looks like?
So as the camera pans over, you see before you Edward Catechus Kalai. He is he's sort of a run-down looking human male. He has a bit of a crazed look in one of his eyes from time to time, and if you were just to look at him from afar, you'd guess he'd probably be early 40s to maybe 50s, but in reality, he's 20 years old, and he's just had a real rough go of it. All of his clothes are a bit shabbier than what they really need to be, as he's left the care for them sort of off to the wayside in lieu of maintaining his everlasting and ever-evolving research. Nobody really knows exactly what he's researching into, but his field of expertise is of the medical persuasion, and that's the role he's been filling up until this point on this particular expedition. And he always has little ticks here and there. He seems to look about at things that just sort of move in the dark more often than not. And as he's finishing scribbling up something else in his notebook before putting it away, he says, yes, my name is Edward, as you all know. You're a physician, medical practitioner, and I'm just traveling around trying to survive as best I can. Gavin knows me the best. We met in a circus, and I've just been doing odd jobs for coin, practicing medicine where it is needed most. And that's all I feel comfortable in sharing with you all at the moment, I suppose. And he sort of looks off over his shoulder a little bit and just ceases to talk before looking back at the fire.
Then the camera will pan over and turn to Gavin.
You see about a 6 foot tall, incredibly handsome elf, who somehow throughout this whole trip, despite everything everyone has gone through, still has perfect hair and immaculate clothing. But very, very handsome features. Actually has a mild beard, which is a little bit odd for elven kind to have. But tall, looks like he's a little bit denser physically than a typical elf. And kind of sitting on his shoulder, where it's been for the most part of this trip, you see a little pseudo-dragon that probably is kind of curled up, napping at the moment, next to his shoulder, just kind of really curled in there. So he turns over and says, well, I am Gavin Vel Ebroth. As Edward already stated, I used to do some work in the circus, a bit of a family business for a time. However, I'm looking to improve the family name, so to speak. Mostly in this for acquiring the necessary capital for such a situation. But I don't really know if there would be anything more you would wish to inquire about. Madame, I believe your name was Miss Barlow, I believe.
That's correct.
I remember hearing you and your husband speaking?
Little
Brother, apologies.
Lizette Barlow, she's kind of short. She's shorter than her brother, even though he's the older one, or the younger one. She wears fighting leathers, usually. She carries a whip. She has long, pale hair and pale skin and purple eyes.
Okay, what do you think?
I believe you mentioned that you were hunters of sorts?
My brother is. I kind of follow him around. He's the hunter. I just kill whatever he tells me needs to be killed and not kill whatever animal he feels like saving. Usually the more dangerous ones, but...
And then the camera will finally pan over to Mr. Barlow.
James Barlow stands about 6 foot, bit darker toned than his sister, dark, like cord braided hair coming back, large brim hat, trench coat, leather black. He has armor himself. His eyes are white, pure white. It's kind of creepy when he stares you down. He carries a large maul on his back, as you guys would know him as the Verdict, but his main weapons are his short swords and his rifle. To answer your question there, Gavin, yes, I am a hunter. Man and beast.
Man and beast, you're some sort of bounty hunter as well?
Of sorts. There's plenty to purge, if you catch my drift.
I see. Well, perhaps Tilda and Deodrum would care to more thoroughly introduce themselves.
There, then he looks up and he says, well, I work for Felix. I've worked for Felix for 5 of these trips. I haven't died because I shoot things from far behind. The only one who works for Felix longer is Tilda. That is why I get paid more than you. And Felix just sort of laughs. He's like, it's all equal shares. It's all equal shares, trust me. And Tilda, she looks up and she says, Tilda, I beat things. And then she punches Derek. Wham! In the arm.
Very straightforward.
I am from Rievo. I grew up here. You all have the voices of foreigners, which I will forgive you for. But I am from there. Tilda, and she says, I came from Castle. You're from Rievo? You don't sound like... I don't want to sound like the idiots from there. She is jerk. Do not mind her. And she, wham! And they start laughing again.
Well, before we get too settled into this cave, let me go ahead and set up our little perimeter. And Edward is going to get up and he's going to go to the entrance of the cave, set an alarm.
Wild dogs seem to be out a little close
Yes.
tonight.
Are we sure they're just wild dogs, not that pack of lichens we glanced by last week?
The bark's all wrong.
see.
Lycans and wolves will be a little deeper.
I will take your word for it. It's not really my area of expertise.
Should I go have a look?
They sound pretty far off to me. Well, might as well just keep an ear out. They get too close. We'll handle them.
But as Edward gets up to start checking to secure around the cave, is there anything else we can do?
James is watching Edward very closely.
All right. From the corner of your eye, for a second, you swear you see a strand of silver thread, which triggers some deep-set memories for you. But then you sort of lean forward and take a harder look, and it's not there. It's not a silver thread. He's pouring things out of a bottle.
He reaches over to his bag, pulls out his book, opens it, writes it down.
Pull out your book and you start writing things down when you watch. What do the rest of you all do?
Does this cave goes deeper?
It does. If you look at your roll 20, you're actually on a map. And I should have the dynamic lighting all set up. As a note to all of our Dark Watchers out there, this is our first episode of the first stream, so if there are any technical difficulties, I ask that you'll forgive us, because we're still working out all the kinks, but this should be set up. I'm looking at your token, and it seems just perfect to me.
Has anyone explored much deeper into this cave, just to ensure that we aren't encroaching on anyone's home?
Yes, of course we did. Tilda did it. And Tilda looks at him and says, I was making the stew. What? What do you mean you were making the stew? I was chopping the vegetables.
So, has anyone checked deeper into the cave?
Not yet, but if it worries you, I can certainly give it a look.
Well, I'm a little bit anxious. Perhaps I will accompany you. If, of course, I would not be imposing.
No, just stay beside me.
Of course. And I kind of nudge my little pseudo-dragon to kind of wake him up and start going with James further into the cave.
Yeah, he wakes up and lets out a yawn with a big stretch like a cat, and then looks at you and
give him a little scratch under the chin. I need to borrow your eyes for a little bit. If you'd be so good as to assist us in searching out this cave.
The sight of a cooked roasted chicken appear in your mind.
I kind of glance around. Is there any little bits of food left?
There's a big pot of stew that was made by Daredin and Tilda.
Mm-hmm. I'll grab a bowl, I guess, then kind of fill that up. And I'll set it down. All right. You can eat for now. I suppose I can make do without you.
He starts lapping it up. Is it a he or she?
It's a he.
He starts lapping it up.
Is your little lizard hungry?
He just woke up from his nap. He hasn't really eaten much during the day.
I have some meat scraps if you would like.
I doubt he would say no. Just try not to feed him too many, and he sort of lags as he goes through the air. Want to make sure he can actually get off the ground.
I like your little lizard.
He is quite the good boy. Apologies, Mr. Barlow. Do lead the way.
Edward, as you go around this cave, there is an opening towards the southern part of this cave that leads deeper in, but for the rest, it seems very secure. As you look out in front of the cave, you see the eyes of about a dozen yellow sets of eyes from the nearby trees, all staring you down. A familiar.
Yeah, he's going to look out into the darkness, sort of just staring back at them, and he's going to be flipping over a very small, flat-faced, finely cut crystal in his hand before finally putting it back into the little loot pouch on his belt, and continuing on, occasionally going down to make it look like he's refastening one of his boots or perhaps kicking off some dirt from his pant leg while laying down some silver wire.
When you go to look down at your boots, you're given a quick start because there is additionally a black cat with yellow eyes sitting in front of you staring.
I suppose you're going to meow heresies at me again. Go on. Get out of here. Go. Shoo. Shoo.
It scrambles back about 5 feet, then turns and sits and stares at you.
I'm just going to glare back at it. I'm going to look back into the cave where the rest of the camp is and see if anybody else has noticed them yet.
Doesn't seem like it. You see James and Gavin walking towards the back. What's Lisette doing during this time?
Lisette? What time of night is it? Because I require more sleep than them.
It's still relatively early.
Okay.
What counts for sun in Soma, because it is a dark land all the time. There's never really a daytime. But the less dark nighttime, before the Nocturnal Predators comes out, that started about 30 minutes ago. You all know to set up your camp early because night is dangerous.
Okay. Probably keeping watch when my brother goes off.
Okay.
Until I gotta go to sleep because I sleep longer than everyone.
Beauty sleep and whatnot, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Nerok, are you sitting with Fenris, the strange red lizard?
You ever see a little kid with like the goldfish food? And yeah, I'm absolutely overfeeding this guy.
He is loving every second of it.
Occasionally get flashes of love and affection from him towards a very, very tall humanoid.
Alright, James.
You start getting pictures. It's a picture. It's like a little kid drew it in crayon, but it's a picture of you holding your arms up, flexing muscles, standing over Gavin, who is passed out on the ground, your foot on his chest.
Okay, my pseudo dragon wants to replace me already.
But James and Gavin, you all walk towards the back of this dark cave. And as you get to the edge of where the campfire burns, your eyes sort of taking a minute to adjust to the dark, you see that this path goes quite a ways back, about another 70 feet or so.
Mr. Gavin, hold still for a moment, would you? And I would like to close my eyes and listen. Using one of my Grim Hollow Bloodhound techniques, I gain advantage on perception that relies on smell or sound, and I'm going to be listening.
As you close your eyes, you can hear closest to you, you can hear the crackle of the fire, the breathing of your companions back there, the small conversation. You can hear the chomping sound of that darn lizard with wings, that almost dragon or whatever they call it. You can hear Edward chanting something outside, and then you hear, shoot, go on, go away, with tiny feet moving into the darkness. Further on, you can hear the wind blowing through the sound of dying trees groaning through the night. Focusing your attention forward, deeper into the cave, you hear nothing.
All right. I don't hear anything.
Quiet.
Still quiet. Grave-like.
If we were in any other country, I might find that comforting.
The silence can be deadly.
Should we perchance check on a little bit further? I'm not sure of you, but I do have vision that is exemplary for the dark.
I can see just fine, thank you. James is gonna move on ahead.
I will follow behind.
As you move on ahead, you can see, as per the Roll20, what you can see that there is almost like a growth of fungus and almost bushes along the wall. And at the foot of this growth of plants, you can see the desiccated, near skeletal body of some poor soul on its belly, arms reached out in front of it, long dead. The smell, so long dead that even the smell has ceased. Doesn't even smell dead anymore. It's been here so long. But it appears, you can see the top half of its torso, its legs appear to go into the brush. These cave plants.
That poor fellow, he's been here a while.
What exactly killed him?
I'm not entirely sure. He's covered with plants. I've heard rumors of some plants being carnivorous in some cases, but I haven't seen one in person.
Well, as the monster hunter, what would you believe to be the best course of action?
Well, right now I have no reason to believe it ain't nothing but plants that either were here before this man or grew off something he had on him.
Looking into it, Mr. Barlow, go ahead and roll me a nature check. First roll of the game.
Nature check, here we go. That is an adjusted soft 20.
These aren't cave plants. These plants can live in a cave. Usually they grow in the underbrush of a larger tree, but these aren't native to caves. Caves are too wet for these plants to grow. There's no way for their seeds to come in here unless they were brought in here. These aren't natural plants to this environment. They belong outside.
Mr. Gavin puts a hand up. These plants don't belong here. They're normally found under larger trees. So either he brought them in here or something else did. And in his mind, he's going to call his sister. Because we rolled that, we have a telepathic link.
You and your sister do have a telepathic link, so as you sit by the fire, you can feel that familiar tugging sensation.
Oh, Lizzie, I need you down here in the cave.
I'm on my way. I grab my whips and start heading that way.
Okay.
As I pass by Nurok as he's feeding the little... I'll return shortly.
Oh, all right.
I'll catch up with my brother.
Okay. It doesn't take long. He's not very far. No more than, what, 30 or so feet? Just on the edge of the campfire light.
Okay.
He and Gavin are standing, staring. You noticed, what is your passive insight?
14?
14. Your brother seems a little more stiff than usual. And there's something off about Gavin. It's hard to place. As you're looking at it, suddenly you hear Dearden and Tilda let out a loud chuff and howl as they start to wrestle together. And you're brought back into the current moment.
I'm gonna try to look to see what my brother's looking at. What look like the stiff.
You have to get much closer. The cave curls.
Okay, I'll get closer.
Move your token. Edward, we're going to move your token because you said you were by the mouth to cave. Up
Yes.
here, just going back and forth.
Yep, for about 10 minutes. He's just muttering to himself and occasionally kicking at nothing or at a random cat if people look up. Seems to have been following him everywhere.
His cat follows him, and you know that he keeps a raven around. His little pet raven.
And this entire time it's been sitting near the edge of the cave, just glaring at everybody with a condescending look, if a raven could have a condescending look.
But Lizette goes to join you.
Ms. Barlow, is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's fine. What? I think.
I asked
Well,
to
I-
come along.
Really, I didn't hear anything.
Sibling connection thing.
Ah. Yes, I have sisters who do something like that every once in a while, though it's really, for them, it's mostly just something they rehearse. Well, I suppose, what do you think? I mean, can you see this body over here?
Lizzie, this body has been here a while. You can't even smell it. But the problem is those leaves don't belong here.
Leaves
Just-
simple. You called me over here for leaves?
Do you also hear that?
I'm trying to hear what he's talking about.
That's exactly it.
No, you don't hear anything.
That's it. Quiet in a cave around here.
Oh.
Not even water driven.
Can I use my divine senses?
Divine sense from your class ability?
Yes, the possibility.
Okay. Let's see here. Paladin divine sense. You don't know what he's talking about. It's you can smell the dead.
I can smell it.
Yeah, you can smell the dead.
Brother, that smells terrible. What do you mean?
As you take this connection to your oath and you focus your senses, you can smell the dead. You can smell the undead
Oh, no.
somewhere. But not ahead of you.
But not ahead of us.
Nope.
But somewhere.
Somewhere.
Gavin's gonna move forward, staying on the opposite side of the cave from the skeleton.
Okay.
Kind of keeping to this side.
As you move forward, you can see that this skeleton is dressed in decayed leather armor. Nearby, it used to be a dagger. Now it looks like it's been turned to dust. Mostly. Parts of the blades have holes in it. The handle is tattered. It looks old.
Looks like his equipment's fairly old and decayed. Don't think it's a recent addition to this cave.
Be careful, Gavin. It might be undead. There's something around here somewhere.
It's so much light. It always smells like that.
Lizzie saying undead. James will pull out his rifle.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a description of how that looks?
So this rifle is it's about that long, 3 feet or so. It's got a wide barrel and what used to appear to be a very gorgeous dragon carved down the side of it. However, it looks like this thing has been put through the ringer. There's dents and scratches in the barrel. There's a piece of the wood missing on the foregrip. The handle in the back is wrapped with tape, but the rest of the party, this thing has always been solid, even though it looks dangerously broken.
You pull out your rifle. Gavin, as you approach this, it got cold. Much colder, but you are going deeper into a cave. That can be expected, right?
Makes sense, yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep stepping forward a little bit, but keeping off to the side of it, staying on the opposite side of the cave from it. And all right, kind of seeing that there's a corner right here. Just gonna kind of lean around and peek around it.
You peek around the corner and you see that the cave abruptly ends in rubble approximately 35 or so feet from it. It looks like there was a cave in.
It looks to be like there's a cave-in further down here. So I believe this is the end of the road as far as this cave is concerned. Other than our oddly decayed and long dead friend here, I don't think there's anything else here.
I wonder if there's something behind these plants.
Yep. Okay.
Would you like to approach the plants?
Well, only way to see if there's something on the other side.
I'm gonna pull out my quarterstaff and kind of. No, I don't feel like he would be. I don't feel like he would do this. I don't feel like he would be the first one to test the plants.
I'm gonna pull out my whip and just whip apart the plants just to see if they move or anything.
As you approach these plants, also, James, it gets unnaturally cold. You know, being a nature-based class, that you're nowhere near deep enough to affect the temperature yet. It should be cool, but not cold. It seems like the closer you get to these plants, the colder the room around you gets. You slash a piece of these plants. Your whip goes through the entire area. A good, let's see, you're 10 feet, so the entire 5 feet remaining of your whip just goes through.
Through the plants, like there's something farther in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a secondary passage right here through the plants. Are the plants like growing through the guy's skeleton?
No, not at all. The part of it you can see, which is from the waist up, is desiccated, but it looks like they're over him.
All right, so not like he's
almost
so
as if someone tried to crawl underneath the plants.
Okay.
And then died.
There's a possibility this man. Okay. And there's. Okay. Well. Looks like this man was trying to crawl out here through the plants. Might be another more cave then beyond these. Do we want to, do we really want to pursue this, or do we want to inquire with the others if anyone else wants to come with us?
James will look behind him, back towards the fire.
As you look back, the irony of the situation sort of dawns on you. You look back towards the fire, the warmth, and happiness and light. You see people playing, and then you look towards you and your sister, almost forming a wall between the encroaching darkness and cold and the warmth of light and happiness behind you.
And he'll say loudly back, Nora, get the doctor and come down here.
You hear
Those dogs getting closer.
Narok will look around, and does he see the doctor?
Yes, you do. He is still fiddling with the front of the cave. It's been about 8 minutes since he started doing this. Right at about maybe 9 minutes. He keeps playing with some cat. He always ends up with a cat somehow.
I walk over, I shoot the cat with my foot, and I kind of like pick him up. He's like, "Let's go, little man. They need us."
Who needs us to go where? I'm sorry, I was dealing with the felines. The horrible, horrible felines.
They're in the cave. They need us.
It sits there cute and makes a soft meow sign, just out of reach of Narok, and then when Narok turns, it hisses at you, opening 4 yellow eyes before running off into the dark.
Yeah, I just start mumbling under my breath about just horrible demonic cats and their ramblings and calling me mad, and I just start mumbling in front of Narok before finally saying, "Very well."
Narok reaches down and grabs his rather large axe and his other large axe. And
I'll
heads down the rest of the cave.
telepathically call to Fenris and have him, assuming he hasn't been turned into a sloshing ooze from being overfed, tell him to come down.
He takes flight and he glides over towards where you are. Did I hit it? I missed it. He flies right in front of here. You feel, he sends you a feeling of disgust as he goes over the body and mounts up on your shoulder.
Give him a little scratch and I know, it's a terrible situation. Well then.
Within your mind, deep within your chest, Gavin, a feeling of excitement from some other. An eagerness.
Kind of quietly to myself, I say, just calm down. Don't get too excited. Remember, we're trying to keep a low profile.
As his pseudo-dragon makes his way over to him, you can hear him start muttering to himself, pumping himself up for something. But you don't know for what. Edward and Narak, as you walk back, Felix and Darden, they look at you. Is there something that we need to do? You're all going to the back. Is it mutiny? Do not mutiny. I will kill you. You and your big arms.
I assure you I don't know what they're wanting us for, but there's safety in numbers. You're fine. Keep wrestling or whatever you're doing.
Felix, come sit. It's time for work. And they arm themselves and get ready. Felix sits down in the middle of them and... Are you sure I wouldn't be safer in the wagon? The wagon is outside. We are inside. Sit here. And Darden sort of grabs him, shoves him down.
Edward's going to look back toward his raven, and he's just going to think, stay put, watch them, keep your eyes open. And the raven will just sort of nod back at him a little bit. And stay put, right where he's at, just watching everything that he can. And we'll continue farther down to meet up with the rest of the group.
Okay.
All right.
As you all sit, perched and ready, watching this, waiting for your entirety, you swear you see the plants shift and move, shake. But plants don't do that. It's just the dark playing tricks on you.
James is going to take a step closer to his sister when he sees this.
It's cold.
As Edward gets down there, he's going to ask the group, so what's going on? What's happening?
There's another tunnel, and Gavin was waiting for the rest of you in Tuesday EST.
And as she motions, you can see the dead body there.
What happened to him?
Long dead, but I'm pretty sure he's not the undead around here. There's an undead somewhere around here. Probably through there.
When is there not? So, why are we not going in if there's another tunnel?
I think we're waiting for the big one.
Yes, come on, Narok. It's down this way. They want your muscles for something. And I'm gonna look over where they're motioning where the entrance supposedly is, and
See a wall of vegetation. You see the tape.
with my knowledge of medicinal herbs and plants, as well as one of the background talents I picked up through the advanced backgrounds of the Grim Hollow book, I would like to try and identify these plants.
You have to be much closer.
I want to ask the group, has anybody attempted to touch the plants first?
Well, I mean, I hold up my whip. Nothing happened. It just went through.
Not as yet. It's Mr. Barlow was saying it was strange to find these sorts of plants down here.
I see. And I will come to right there.
It gets unnaturally cold as you get closer and closer to this wall of plants. Are you investigating the plants or the body?
I'm looking at... Actually, I'll look at the body first.
Okay. You would recognize this off the bat with your extended studies. This man wears the uniform of the Riebo, or of the Soman military.
This is a soldier. He's part of the Soma military. You can see the degraded insignia etched just there into the cauldron. What is a soldier doing here? But this is definitely strange indeed. Is there any betrayal of what killed him?
Go ahead. Well, are you trying to determine his cause of death?
Yes.
How are you doing this?
I'm going to get down, and seeing as how it looks like it's decayed beyond having flesh, I'm going to look specifically at limbs first, moving towards the torso to look for any sort of mass trauma on the bones, if there's anything besides basic gnawing marks that small rodents may have come across later, seeing if any of the ribs have been broken unnaturally or if they had just fallen off over time.
Roll me a history check.
History. 14.
14. So, as you go over and you look at this body, the cause of death seems to be mass system trauma shutdown, almost like a disease or a virus moved through him with an incredible speed. You're looking at it and you would swear that this body has been dead for 500 years. This armor has been rotting for 500 years. But Astoy didn't exist 500 years ago. Something has degraded and rotted this person unnaturally fast. Also, as you're checking him out and you're touching his body and everything, just roll my dice. That's interesting. As you're doing that, you accidentally tug on the body just a little bit too hard, and you pull him out, and he has no legs. It is a torso.
Well, I suppose it's not the most gruesome thing I've seen, but it's strange. If I were to come into this with no knowledge whatsoever, I would swear that this corpse has been here for several hundred years. But Soma didn't exist that long ago, unless our history books are wrong, and something took his legs. So,
examining, it seems like, it's very curious, it seems like the most advanced case of bone degradation you've ever seen. As you examine the body, the hips, as you touch them, they flake off into a dust, into a powder. They're extremely brittle.
I'm gonna pull out my small little penknife, and I'm going to try and get a small bit of a scraping off of one of the ribs, and I would like to try and see if there's any still active agents that might be giving away if this is still a contagious vector.
So are you going to pull out an alchemy kit right now and do an entire hour's worth of alchemy? Or are you collecting a sample to do later?
To do later.
Okay. You collect your sample.
All right.
Nobody else touched the corpse.
All right, if you're done playing science, we gotta figure this out.
Well, if you want to be my guest and touch the possibly poisonous plants first, then go right ahead, Mr. Barlow. And Edward will take a step back.
The further away you get from these plants, it gets significantly warmer. You didn't realize how cold you were, but your fingertips are numb. You were shaking and you didn't even realize you started.
Was it this cold earlier?
It's fairly cold this deep in the cave. But the caves naturally get colder as you get deeper.
I suppose that sounds right. That's not my field, but...
Look to James, because we moved like 20 feet from the entrance. I looked to James like, I don't know about that. We're kind of from a cave. That doesn't seem right.
No, this far back, it should not be this cold. It should be cool, but not cold.
Well, the question remains, do we want to investigate deeper, possibly eliminate something that may come after us in the middle of the night, or just wait and hope that nothing decides to sneak up on us?
If nothing else, I'm gonna step up to the wall of plants.
Okay.
And I would like to investigate the plants, see if I can't identify them inside my head.
What were you going to say, James?
I was gonna say, well, everybody's here. Let's see what's on the other side of this wall. And he's gonna move right there, like not on the body, but like, you know,
Kind of step over it.
yeah.
Okay.
Using my skills in nature, I got a 22 to try and identify these plants.
You know how I described them earlier. They most definitely are not a natural cave-growing subject. They're very thick. They're known for creating draperies and windows. Particularly in Elvish architecture, they enjoy using these to create false passageways, almost like college kids do with lines of beads.
But
They are non-poisonous.
okay. Learning that, I'm going to go ahead and just pull a little bit of it aside to peer back.
When you pull it aside and peer back, you see that the cave does indeed continue forward. Just adjust this. You should be able to see through now, right? Wonderful. Inside, you see that there is another cave, and this is populated with barrels and tables.
Almost like it's some sort of...
It looks like a smuggler's cave.
I believe we found a...
It's also very, very cold. Feels like, as you open it, it's almost like it robs the cold of the area. It was cold before, but now it feels like home. It feels like the north.
I'm comfortable.
Narek wants to spend the night back here.
Yeah.
You found Astoy and air conditioning.
James will push through into the room.
Yeah, you go into the room.
Suppose Gavin will follow through.
Seems like some sort of smuggler den.
You mess with it then?
Could be useful. Maybe there's supplies here that they left that we could use for our trip, or even sell in town.
Looking around, you do see a large chest in the back.
Why is it though so cold in here?
All the barrels in the room, they seem old. There are no cobwebs. And likewise, the body had no, there was no evidence that it was feasted on by any vermin. No bugs, no rats, nothing like that. You don't see any evidence of that here. The metal seems degraded. The wood seems old and rotted. As if this cave has not been touched in a lifetime. The air is thick. It burns as you breathe in from how cold it really is.
How does the chest in the back look? Does it also look decayed?
It's fine.
I think we should be careful of that chest back there. Everything in here is decayed and rotted. That is the only thing in here that is untouched.
Stinks of foul magic.
Sure.
Yes. Foul.
What does Narok smell?
You smell death. You smell the plants. But you also smell like something died. As you walk through, the wall of plants sort of falls back into place, blocking the light coming in. Is it dark? You see because dark vision.
We can't.
Is or was fine liquor.
You lagged out a little there, John. The only thing we heard was fine liquor.
Inside the barrels, it smells like there is or was fine liquor.
And how's the lighting coming from the hall? So the plants fell back down.
Yeah, the plants fell back down and blocked the pathway. You can't see any light coming through.
Okay, Narok is going to light a torch because he does not have dark vision.
You light a torch.
Edward is going to go stand by Narok.
If you go into the character effect tab, Narok, you should see a folder that says lighting. And inside you'll see something named torch. You can drag that out onto your character anytime you want to light a torch.
Okay.
Lizzie, watch my back. I'm gonna move forward into that chest.
Alright.
Edward doesn't trust this place. He's going to take the wrapped shield that he's had on his back, and he's just going to sort of hold it in front of him with both hands, just peering over, waiting.
Okay.
You find anything?
He hasn't opened it yet.
I would like to check this chest. Is it locked? Does it look trapped or something?
This chest, it is locked. It's a simple lock. It appears to be a heavy chest, filled with stuff. You don't see any traps. It doesn't appear to be trapped. The chest is made out of a sturdy wood with thick iron bands and two rings on the front, 2 rings on the back, and it has 2 traveling posts funneled through the rings. It looks like it's meant to be carried far.
You know, it's like carried with a pole over the shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't have thieves' tools.
Make as the rest of these barrels.
I don't have thieves' tools, but I do have tinkerer's tools. Could I try and get it open?
With thieves' tools or tinkerer's tools?
Tinkerer's tools.
Go ahead and roll me a tinker tool check at disadvantage because you're using them for something they're not made for.
Right. What? Which one is that? Is it just dex?
That's an intelligence check to use tools.
Intelligence. All right. +3. Here we go. At disadvantage. I rolled 2 15s. 18.
18. As you fiddle around with it, this is a very basic lock. It's not a very well-made lock. You clink open the lock. When you clink open the lock and the lock falls down, behind the lock, there's a large seal of the... it is the seal of the Astoy Nobility, Crimson Court.
Okay. This appears to be from Astoy. Crimson Court, anyone?
Crimson Court?
Hmm.
Should we really be bothering with that, then?
Well, if it's been here for 500 years, I don't think they'll remember. Or they get a 500-year-old reward.
Actually, I'd like to roll a history check to see if I've ever heard of the Crimson
Speak
Court.
up.
I'd like to roll a history check to see if I've ever heard of the Crimson Court.
You have. They are the rulers of Soma.
What's the vampire? What's the vampire?
It is the vampire nobility and rulers of Soma.
I was gonna say, he's like, oh, it's been here for 500 years. I was thinking, if it's the vampire people, that's not that long of a time for them.
They didn't exist.
They didn't?
I take it James would know that too, given his background.
Yep.
So then,
Yes. Edward had said that if he didn't know any better, the corpse outside looks as if it's over 500 years old, or at least several hundred years old is what he said specifically. But the way it was dressed, there's no possibility that that should be a thing, as Soma, it wasn't around that long ago. So something caused the corpse to age, but he doesn't know exactly what, or at least he didn't say what it was. He just advised to not touch the corpse until he can test his sample at a later time.
The barrels in here, do they look like they're, despite being rotted, they still look like they're sealed, correct?
Most of them.
Kind of rapping on one with my quarterstaff. Does it sound like it has anything inside it?
It shatters, and you get covered in whiskey.
All right, I did not intend to rap that so hard.
Is the whiskey a very strong smelling whiskey?
It is. Narok, you are overloaded with the smell of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You instinctually pull your torch away from where this happens. You have a feeling that Gavin is very flammable right now.
Mm-hmm.
Edward is going to go straight up to one of the intact barrels, and he is going to... Are they open barrels?
No, they're sealed.
I'm going to attempt... I'm going to look around the edges of them and see if there was a tapping cork or anything.
Untapped barrels. But as you're looking around the barrels, you can particularly see that these are emblazoned with the symbol of a particular noble house.
I'd like to make a history check to see if I've seen or read about this particular symbol.
Go ahead and make your history check, but it's with disadvantage.
Understood.
Pretty obscure.
History was a 6, right? Yes. Oh, no. Cool. So that is a 9.
A 9. A hard place.
Some kind of family seal.
But you do know what it looks like for if you encounter it again.
I'll quickly make a little sketch in one of the bottom corner pages of my research notes on a random page.
Okay.
And then I'm going to attempt to gingerly open up the top of one of these barrels.
I mean, you go as gingerly as you can. It almost turns to powder as you put any sort of force into this. A little bit sprinkles into the whiskey, but you can.
It's whiskey. It's fine. And like I'm gonna go around with my little pen knife and just sort of do the edge thing all the way around before trying to gingerly move the lid.
Have you ever touched wood that had been eaten by termites?
Yes.
How it turns into powder.
It's a terrible thing.
It does. It's like that.
I'm going to try and keep it as minimal as possible, and I'm going to wait for it to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take out my one trusty mug that I keep with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a cup.
So while you're doing this, and Gavin is extremely flammable, Narok, James, and Lizette, what are you doing?
I was keeping an eye on James while he was opening that chest, make sure nothing popped out of it and whatnot.
Okay. He unlocks the chest.
Still watching his back.
Okay. You try and watch your brother's back. Narok?
I was moving towards James to get away from the smell and to see what was going on up here.
The very flammable.
Overpowered. It's very fine whiskey. Top of the line. But it is overloading your sense of smell. Your very delicate sense of smell.
James would like to open the lid, mechanically take the dodge action and use the chest as his free item interaction.
Yeah, you let me go ahead and put the dodge action on. That was very smart. Roll initiative.
I get advantage on that because of things.
This is thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank God, too.
First battle of the campaign, guys. Are you excited?
As long as it doesn't breathe fire.
Terrible good waste of whiskey.
It was a light tap.
I accidentally gave Torch an initiative instead of Narok the Bear.
Torch flies at Gavin. Oh no.
Possessed by an evil spirit, Torch takes his vengeance. Ignore me, shall you?
Don't you like me?
I was about to empty one of my water skins.
I'll light up your world.
All right, Narok, what you sitting at, buddy?
Natural 20 plus 3, so 23.
Damn.
First roll of the night.
Edward got a 10. He was distracted by fine whiskey.
Edward's at 10. Wonderful. Let me just adjust the tracker here. So, since you guys were particularly loud, these fellows were waiting in height and sitting in wait.
Were they invisible?
No,
Okay. Just because I would have known about them.
they were inside the chest, being quiet and waiting.
Fuck.
But When you open the chest, 4 hands fly out at you.
Oh God.
You smell the undead that you were searching for there, Lizette. You found them. Pull back up the turn tracker. First one. He's going to make his attack. And he has an 11. So this claw slashes out at you. And 11 just does not connect.
Can I use Sentinel, or do I not get to yet because I haven't taken my turn?
It's not your turn yet.
Okay.
You are surprised.
Okay.
Because they were waiting. But Narok Barakist is not surprised. He rolled a natural 20.
Okay, so there's these 4 hands, huh?
Technically, you see 1 hand right now. The rest haven't made their way out of the fire.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm gonna go up to it and swing at it with my Wrath Axe.
It's this one. With your Wrath Axe. The Grim Hollow specific axe.
Mm-hmm.
Run, Torch, run!
Alright.
2 axes, Torth in his mouth. Brrr.
No, it's currently just one axe, 1 torch.
No, but that's what I see in my head. Don't ruin my immersion.
Fair enough. Ooh, that's a number. 23 to hit.
Yeah, you're definitely going to hit.
All right. That is 13 points of damage.
13 points of damage. You slam your axe and you cut this hand in half, slicing it. But then
Hold on, how far did I move up?
Not far at all.
Oh, okay.
10.
Never mind.
I think it was
Okay,
10.
He was here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not quite enough to trigger that ability.
Mm-hmm.
But you slice through this hand that has reached out and tried to claw James's eyes out of his head. And when you do, you slice it clean in half. Your axe connects, slicing through the undead flesh like butter and hitting into the ground underneath it with a loud clang and thud. Sparks go flying a little bit. And as you withdraw the axe, the 2 halves of the hand just start melding themselves back together. Just barely hanging on.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for my action.
All right, so that brings us to the next one. And the next one is going to launch itself out of the chest. And seeing that, yeah, it's going to go to the square that it is in. And it's going to make that attack at disadvantage on James Barlow. That is a... Let's see here. That is a 16.
That just hits.
Will connect. So this one launches out and tries to... These hands are just launching themselves, aiming for your eyes. And this one will do 4 points of slashing damage as it cuts across your face, trying to gouge your eyes out. This one's going to launch itself out of the chest, and it's going for Mr. Bearkist. With an 18 will cut into you, but you flex your muscle and send it flying off.
Hey, John, you did get a little crazy on us there. Could you repeat what you said?
I'm sorry. I said that the unliving hand launches itself at Narok and tries to claw and scrape its way across his chest, but he flexes his muscle and launches it onto the ground as it lands and gets ready to jump up again, doing no damage to him. And the last one is going to try and also attack Narok, and it's going to go here. That is a 14 to hit. So this one also, it tries to go for his eyes, but it can't jump high enough, so it just ends up grabbing and pulling his beard a little before slamming into the ground.
Probably shouldn't have done that.
And that will bring us to the top of the round. Mr. Barlow.
The one directly in front of me here, my north.
All right.
No, I've changed my mind. I want to shoot that one.
Of course you do.
Yep.
And you have the ability to ignore disadvantage on your rifle attacks, right? Right?
You roboted completely.
Yeah,
out.
you lag there quite a bit.
I apologize. The weather's pretty bad here today. I said you ignore disadvantage from ranged attacks within melee with your gun, correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll a straight roll to hit.
That is a 15.
15 hits, roll your damage.
That is 11. I think it was piercing. I forget. I didn't write it down by accident. However, it hits this one, but has the scatter effect and puts a
So
15.
one behind it has to make a dex save, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you blast out with this blunderbuss of yours, this strange rifle given to you as a gift. The one behind it has a 16 on the dex save. What's the DC?
I have no idea. I wasn't able to find that.
I believe it's close to an 11 or 12. I'm going to say a 16 will save.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was reading the books and stuff, and it says there's a save, and then not how to figure it out. At least what I could find.
Gotcha. All right, so you hit into both of these. One dodges out of the way nimbly, avoiding the damage. The other, you blast a piece of it, and it just sort of reforms itself again, barely hanging on there out of sheer force of will.
All right, that's my action.
The sound of the gunshot echoes through this tiny area in a painful way.
And as a bonus action, Narok, you're going to feel like a pulse, and the one I shot at needs to make a strength saving throw.
For
It's part of my telekinesis ability.
it has a 2.
It gets flung back 5 feet.
You launch it 5 feet away from you.
Yep. And now I'm going to come back this way.
All right, the one north of you is going to try and take a swing at you for that. with a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Alright, so then that will be 3 points of slashing damage. As this one, as you turn to go, it just lashes on and tries to rip you out by the Achilles heel, but you manage to hold your footing as you move forward.
Am I still surprised, or can I settle that?
You are no longer surprised.
So I can settle that? Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to settle that.
You got this.
I don't think that hits. It's a 9 to hit.
9 will not connect. You lash out with your whip and hit the ground next to this hand.
So does that still use that one react? That
Yes, you made an attack.
Okay.
That brings us to number 21. Number 21 will scurry along the ground, its nails making an odd noise as it moves forward, locked on target at James Barlow. James Barlow, grave robber, and it launches itself up, once again aiming to slash out your eyes. But with a 7 to attack, you deflect it out of the way with the barrel of your gun and level it down at it, waiting. That's number 21's turn. We will once again be on Narok the Bearcast.
Alright, so this one right here next to me is the one that pulled my beard.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that one.
Yup. I'm going to
It's rotting, bubbling with oozy pustules.
I'm gonna go ahead and rage.
You didn't like that real much. You get real angry.
Mm-hmm. And I am also going to just take my axe and swing, kind of like an uppercut. You kind of just hammer this thing hard with the wrath axe.
I gotcha.
That's another 15. So what's that? 23 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. Max damage. Very nice.
Oh, gee.
That's what, 16, 22.
Dragging the head of your axe along the ground, continuing throwing sparks in both directions. You cut your axe into this hand and you launch it upwards and just slam the axe into the ceiling above you, and 2 halves of a hand hit the ground, dead and unmoving.
And now I turn my focus to the next one over.
Yeah.
And that is my turn.
Number 20 didn't like that someone tried to hit it, so it's going to 5, 10, 15. It crawls up onto the wall and sticks to the wall at unnatural speed like it's a spider. And as it does, it's going to launch itself off of the wall towards Lizette Barlow. With a 16 to hit.
That misses.
16 misses. So as it does, the whip just comes up and knocks it off course just a little bit. And it lands on the ground in front of you and proceeds to throw up not nice fingers in your direction. That will make it your turn.
I guess I'm making an attack against that one then.
Alright, it is 5 feet from you.
Okay. That is a 19 to hit.
19 will connect.
9 damage.
9 damage. You hit your across this thing, this slicing flesh from bone, but it just hangs on there.
That's my turn.
Okay. Gavin,
All right.
you are
Out of
covered in whiskey from head to toe.
Out of curiosity, are there more of those same barrels back here?
You should be able to see your barrels on the map, but yes.
Okay. Cool.
Barrel. There's a stack of 5 barrels there. There's 1 barrel here, 2 crates, barrel.
Gotcha. 5, 10, 15, 20. Can I grab that hand and throw it at one of those barrels in the back?
Go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
Okay. That is an unnatural 20.
You sure do. You grab it and you launch it at the pile of barrels in the back. It lets out this high-pitched, almost bat-like squeal as you throw it, and it crashes into these barrels, causing the first one to collapse, and the weight of that causing the other 5 under it to collapse as well. Edward, whiskey is everywhere.
Not the whiskey! And if you guys look back at him, he is looking absolutely distraught at this.
Narok, I need you to roll me, let's call it a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. Did I trigger a player thing? I triggered a player thing.
Six.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the smell of this is so overwhelming that you're a little disoriented. You feel almost like throwing up not because you can't handle your liquor, but the smell of this much liquor at once just sort of almost physically punches you in your face. You're going to have disadvantage next year.
Okay.
All right, and bonus action, I'm going to have Fenris fly over to James, land on his shoulder, and he's going to give him the help action for whatever he decides to do next.
James, you feel a weight land on your shoulder and you sort of jerk and you're ready to punch or stab or shoot, but then you see that it is indeed the flying lizard that follows Gavin, and it gives you a little nuzzle and you feel a bit encouraged.
Cool.
All right, that's going to end my turn.
I mean, all right.
Edward.
Okay,
The whiskey is everywhere.
So first things first, as a free action item interaction, I'm going to down the mug of whiskey that I had just gotten when I started,
Okay?
because one does not waste whiskey.
It's very potent.
And
You have not tasted its like, even with the sawdust in it.
And with that mug, I'm feeling a little bit more, or at least I believe myself to be a little bit more forward thinking. And what I'm going to do is, this is a large stack of them, right? Of
Yes, it
boxes
is.
and stuff.
You're in front of the large stack of barrels, and next to it is a stack of large crates.
Right here where I'm pinging, is that a clear path around that stack?
Yes, it is.
Okay. 5, 10, 15. So I'm moving around here to get to right there, and that would give me line of sight on this one back here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to move back there, and as I'm going, I am going to reach within that power that a stranger gave me so long ago, and I'm going to subtle spell a cantrip of acid splash while yelling out, "Hey guys, I found some acid, maybe this will work!" And I'm going to grab a little bit of sawdust and things and just chunk it at that hand. All the way over there.
Okay. I can't remember. Is Acid Splash a dex save or
It
is
is.
it a attack?
You roll a bubble of acid, choose a creature within range 60 feet. Target makes a dex saving throw.
It has a 3.
That fails. And No, I don't have to roll for that one. Never mind. So yeah, it takes 1d6 acid damage, and there's no other enemy nearby it, so it doesn't bounce. But it takes 1 acid damage.
Narok, the smell is horrible as he launches this acid into this dead flesh, and it just sizzles and pops and starts melting off of the bones and onto the ground. And it's another assault on your nostrils.
Dude,
I'm already raging, and it's getting worse.
Alright, so that one in particular, covered in acid, turns in your direction, Edward, and it's going to run towards you, launch at you, and attempt to kill you.
No. Does I raise my shield higher?
I am going to send.
Hold on.
Attack of opportunity?
If you choose.
I don't. I'm so overwhelmed with everything. I wouldn't.
You can make your attack of opportunity. It does have cover.
Okay. That is a 16 to hit.
16. You lash out with your whip, and your whip gets tangled on the crates and breaks part of the crates open, and you see that they are filled with stuff. Hard to tell what.
Okay, so a miss?
You miss.
Okay.
But it has a 16 to hit Edward.
It needed a 15 or better, so it definitely hits me.
It claws at your eyes. What happened to my D4? Up there. It's hiding behind my D8. And it will do 3 points of slashing damage as this acid-covered thing just cuts across your eyes.
Oh dear! And yeah, Edward is very shocked and surprised.
Launching itself out of this chest, you see this small creature covered in undead flesh, large ears atop its head, sharp teeth, beady eyes, jaw hanging by one side as it looks and it turns towards Narok. No sort of hands on it, just these pointed nubs that end in sharpened bone, and it will launch itself at Narok Bear Touched. With its vicious bite, it's going to launch itself and attempt to bite you, Narok. And it has a 14 to hit you, so that won't work. It attempts to latch onto you with its mouth hangs by one side, and as it goes to bite you, it just sort of yanks its head, and it just latches around your arm, but your arm is the part that it tries to bite into is too medium large. Its vicious bite does not take effect.
Okay.
That brings us to that one's dead. And finally, the last thing will bring itself out of the chest, and it too will attempt to lunge and bite Narok's face off, this long dead skeleton dressed in the guise and outfit of a tax collector.
I would like to send my tax collector.
Okay.
Fine.
I'd like to take an attack against the tax collector just for the hell of it.
Oh gosh, 13. That misses too.
13. It slams into the ground right next to it. These crates are really screwing up your aim as you break open another crate.
So tired of these dice. That's every single dice so far.
So this beastly skeleton with lumps of flesh hanging off of mostly bone rolls to attack Narok and has a 23 to hit. I think it actually hits.
Yeah, it hits.
So it's going to launch itself and it bites you on the cheek, tearing flesh and doing 7 points of piercing damage, cut in half to 3 because of rage. And with that, we're back at Mr. Barlow.
All right. Mr. Barlow's going to see this pointy-handed creature in front of him. And will
The
mark...
skeleton also does not have any hands.
I figure we're fighting the hands. And I am going to mark him as my favored foe.
This one, right?
Yeah, this guy.
Okay. Well, so I think I have a favorite foe button. We'll use Hunter's Mark because it's basically the same thing.
Yep. And
You have advantage on your first swing thanks to the pseudo drive.
yeah, I'm actually going to take a step here and shoot in a line so I can also get the dude in the back there. So roll to hit skeleton boy at advantage. That is a natural 20, sir.
That is a critical hit. Go ahead and maximize your first dice. So that's 4 for the favorite foe. And your weapon dice for the thing is how much?
2d6.
2d6, you say?
Yes, sir.
So that'll be 12 plus 4 is 16 plus whatever you roll plus your modifier.
Well, here's a fun thing about favorite foe. The first time on each of your turns that you hit a favored enemy and deal damage to it, including when you mark it, I increase that damage by a d4, so it's 2d4.
That's where the d4 was coming from. Right?
So I get a d4 for favorite foe,
Yeah.
but it also says the first time on each of your turns you hit your favorite enemy.
No, that's where the d4 comes from.
Okay, the way it's got it listed and I put it down, it looks like it's I get a d4, but the first time I hit it, I get a second d4.
No. The way favorite foe works is once per round you get a d4.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
one per turn.
Yeah, it's just the way it comes down, it looks like 2d4s, but I get what you're saying.
So roll your 2d6 and your d4, and add it to 6.
That'll be 27 piercing damage.
27 piercing damage. This thing looked pretty hardy, but now it looks like it's hanging on by a little bit. Behind it, how much damage does this thing take for failing? Because it failed its deck.
If it failed its dex, I would assume it takes all of it, but again, I couldn't find it.
Well, it takes 1 second. We'll open up the Crimson Hollow campaign guide by Ghostfire Gaming with the
Page 19.
page 19. Thank you.
Actually, that was Nura. He sent that earlier.
Ah,
He
wonderful.
said page 19 of the campaign guide.
And things with the scatter property. Scatter weapons are capable of devastating blah 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 blah. All creatures other than the original target that fall within the scatter range must make a dex save against your DC. On failed save, they take damage equal to the ability score modifier. So what's your dex?
The ability score modifier is I add +5.
+5, so take 5 damage, and it crashes into him, slamming pieces of flesh away. It just hangs on. Necromantic energies. Magic. Keep it moving.
Okay. And then I'll finish my turn with moving here.
All right. Perfect. Number 21 just got slammed into with that stuff. It's going to move up and around and attempt to attack James Barlow, provoking from Narok if you choose.
No, I have something else going on.
All right.
I would like to sentinel whenever you're done.
Do you have any left?
I have one.
Okay. You may sentinel. This thing runs up and swings at you, connecting with another. This time it balls its fist up and it punches you straight in the jaw. And does 5 points of bludgeoning damage. What'd you get?
Nat 1! I hate all dice.
Oh no, that's a consequence.
I know. Oh, I remember the consequence table.
Okay, so you roll a nat 1 and you... First, you take a notch.
Yeah.
Tink. So as you go to connect with the whip, you slam it into the ground too hard and you feel a little bit of the connection start to tear and crack as you take one weapon notch.
What was every other notch? Every 2 would take a notch. I thought. What way is it? No, I'll ask you.
So it's every 2 it takes the damage?
Every 2 notches is whenever you lose things.
Oh, okay.
You take a notch, and on the
Okay.
second notch, your weapon dice goes down by a size.
Right, okay.
Speaking of the notches, John, could you take a few moments to explain it to our viewers?
Absolutely. So one of the things, and we will be discussing this in our Session 0 recap, in this game we're using a bunch of it's third-party material. We're using talents by Draconics, which is how these crawling claws, if you haven't figured it out, but that's how they have undead fortitude. Also, the players have talents and the monsters have talents, but this in particular, we're using Giphy Glyph's rules for darker dungeons. And one of those rules is the weapon notch system, which causes a more realistic experience with Dungeons and Dragons, where your items have integrity and strength of their own. And as your item takes more and more damage, more of these notches, the less effective it becomes until you repair it. But that's the notch system. If you want to read more about it, you can always look up Giphy Glyph's Darker Dungeons. I believe Notches is chapter 20-ish. Let's see. I've got it written down right here. Notches is chapter 9. And the change that we made to the notch system is I made it a little more forgiving than it's written. Every other notch is whenever you receive your negative abilities to the item instead of every notch. That was a compromise. But you take a notch. Anything else?
No, that's the consequence.
You take a notch.
I thought there was the consequence as well as...
That's your consequences. You take
Okay.
a notch. And moving forward, that brings us to Narok.
I am going to use my action to transform.
Oh,
Mmm.
so you want to unleash the beast inside of you.
I do. My wrath axe is stuck into the ceiling of the cave right now. I let it go and I just let the rage that's already going embrace even more, and I start growing white fur.
For the first time, you see Narok start to unleash this otherworldly howl as he starts to bulge, and muscles twist and push, and bones sound like they snap as he turns. Monster Hunter James Barlow and Lizette Barlow, your companion, has turned into a werebear. He has unleashed the lycanthropic curse within him. Make a wisdom saving throw, Narok.
Natural 20 plus 3.
You are in control this round.
Good.
John, I did forget it. I forgot to roll concentration for my favored foe.
Understood.
I'm good.
Gotcha. As he unleashes an otherworldly roar, and he takes on... Did you turn into a bear, or did you turn into the hybrid?
I turned into the hybrid. I'm full on werebear right now.
Gotcha. All right, that's your action. Anything else?
Nope. That's all I can do for right now.
Okay. Rolling claw number 20 is going to go ahead and make an attack at the set with a 20 to hit,
That hurts.
and it will do 2 points of slashing damage. As it is unfazed by this transformation, and in the momentary lapse in your judgment, it launches itself and scratches up your whip-bearing arm. And that brings us to your turn.
I'm gonna try my darndest to hit it this time.
Okay.
Because, dear gods, I better hit something this combat with all the attacks I've made.
By the Seraph's beard.
Something better happen. I think that actually might hit for once. 22.
22 will connect. Who are you aiming at?
The one next to me, because the other one next
So
to
not
me
the
is...
werebear. Gotcha.
No.
I don't know.
I've given up on regular dice because they can all go to the 9 cost. That is 8 damage.
8 points of damage. Wow. You slam into this thing and you cut it to pieces. It falls dead.
And I will use my bonus action to heal my reactions won't heal a reaction for this turn.
Okay.
Because I didn't declare it last time.
So you fuel your Sentinel Revisited.
Yes.
Okay. Gavin.
Okay. More things popped out of the chest.
Turned into a monster. A bloodthirsty monster.
Well, this is not what I expected to find in this cave. Okay. I'm going to, I'm going to throw that hand again. Grab the hand and try and hurl it over, kind of over yonder. So that at least there's a werebear between between us and the hand.
Okay.
So that's an athletics check, correct?
Go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
All right. That is a 17 as a reaction. Just to boost that up a little more. As a reaction, I'm going to use my physical specimen ability and add another 5 onto that. So that's a 22 altogether to hurl that hand into that far back corner.
Roll me a sleight of hand check.
I'm not good at these. Ooh. 19.
19. You reach out for this thing. It's a good thing you use that because it was going to escape. It jumps out over your hand, and as it does, a fleshy tentacle launches forward and wraps it up, bringing it into your hand. James, you're a little too distracted to fully see that something weird just happened, but you don't quite make it out. He grabs the hand and he launches it across the room.
All right.
Back into the pile of whiskey.
And then, because I see Edward's also having a hard time, bonus action, I'm going to send Fenris over here and give Edward the help action.
Fenris flies over there to try and help where this thing is just like fighting against Edward, trying to go for the throat.
All right, and that will end turn.
So, I am just going to try and shove the shield up underneath it as it's like grabbing a hold of my collarbone, and using my telekinetic feat, I'm going to, as an action, cast Mage Hand without any components, and it's invisible. and I need the Crawling Claw to make a strength saving throw or be pulled back away from me.
That's a 12.
12 fails, as I am going to send it to right there.
You do that, and as you do, you winch your eyes and focus this power from within you, and it gets launched 5 feet back, lands on its ground, turns towards the large bear creature, and then turns back to you. Anything else?
I didn't sign up for this! 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And, yeah, that's action, bonus action movement. Yeah, that will be Edward's turn.
Okay, this thing is going to 5, 10, 15. That provokes from 2 people. If you choose.
I already used my reaction for a physical specimen.
Gotcha. Rock.
I'll use mine real quick.
He actually didn't provoke from you yet.
Oh yeah, you moved him back.
You provoked from me though.
Yep. Do you choose?
I am gonna take a claw attack at him.
Go ahead and make your attack roll at disadvantage.
That is 17 to hit.
17 absolutely hits. Roll your damage.
Uh, 19 points of slashing damage.
This thing scampers across the ground. Everywhere you look back as this thing launches up, and as it does, the bear just slams it into the ground and is left as a mushy paste. Two digital bones sort of quiver and try to pull in your direction before it ceases. You kill it.
Nice.
James Barlow, this large lycanthrope has just swung out and almost hit you and your sister.
Yep.
That brings us to this thing. It's going to attempt to jump and bite the face of the werebear. What do you have? It's 22 connect now, Rock.
Am I using the werebear AC? Or my AC?
It's there's no difference. You're a barbarian.
Okay. I mean, yes, 22 hits.
Okay, so he's going to latch on with that vicious bite. He's going to bite you on the side of the face and just sort of dangle there. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a pet lizard, but they like to do that. He's going to do an outstanding 2 points of piercing damage, cut in half to 1.
Okay.
You can.
I don't think I do. That's a 14.
14. Where is my Zoblin's AC? 14 will connect.
Oh, yay! Thank you, Zoblin, for having such a low AC. That is a 7.
7 points of damage. Understood. That actually triggers the Zoblin special ability. Whenever you launch into it, you flay the skin off of its back with its whip, and when it does, it immediately starts suckling at Narok Bear Touched, and you will take 5 points of necrotic damage.
Ooh.
I will?
Narok will, yes.
Oh, wow.
And it is considered to be grappling you.
Did you have to use the word suckling?
Yes.
Hey,
It just got weird there.
horror stories can get weird too.
But that is the Zoblin's turn. Attached. then the skeleton is going to try to attack as well. And the skeleton has an 18 to hit you. It's pointed bone spears with used to ended hands stab at you and just sort of blunt against the strength of your skin. James Barlow, monsters aplenty.
Yeah, there's a big one right in front of me.
Well, why don't we go ahead and it's time for our 10-minute break, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. Right, guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to meet back up here in 10 minutes at the 21-minute mark of the hour. So I hope you guys are having fun. I told you it was monsters you never faced.
Yeah.
A Zoblin?
A Zoblin. It's a thing.
No, I know it's a thing.
It's exactly what it sounds like too. These little things are nasty.
You said it's not goblins, and I went, okay, that's interesting. We're at level 1, we're not fighting goblins. It's a Zoblin. It's a zombie goblin.
It is. That was actually my little joke, but it's crawling claws, guys.
Cool.
I like crawling claws. They're one of the more fascinating undead that you can throw at people. I like to use them all the time.
But 10 minutes, we're going to be back.
All right.
everybody, Dark Watchers and player characters. Welcome back to Pact Tactics, where our players have found themselves in a dark and creepy cave, surrounded by dark and creepy things trying to kill them. James Barlow, it is your turn.
Hold on, let me get the Roll20 back up for everybody. There we go. My turn. All right, so James needs to make a decision here, and he's going to dig into one of his talents that he was given, or feats, I should say. He is going to need to make a wants to make an insight check using his tactical assessment ability, which is a D6, to see if the werebear or the undead are the biggest threat in the room.
Go ahead and make your roll.
All right, so that's a soft 20. Which do I think is the bigger threat, John?
That bear is significantly tougher than anything you've ever faced, ever.
All right, here it goes. I'm going to level my shotgun at the werebear, giving it just enough of an angle to also hit that the two undead behind him.
I would like to use my last attack of opportunity to attack James, but I would like to disarm him, because that is one of my features I can do with my whip feat.
Okay, so per the disarming rules, I need you to roll an attack roll.
If I hit, he makes a strength save.
Oh,
yeah, because whips are specifically for this.
Right, because it's Scourge Master feat. Okay, well, roll your attack roll against your brother.
He's trying to hurt a party member.
He's trying to hurt a giant bear that's just swung at you. But
That's a 20.
a 20.
Unnatural 20.
James, make a strength saving throw. What should you see?
15.
That is a grand total of 9.
9. So you level your shotgun, you take your shot at the bear, and as soon as you do, your sister grabs the whip, uses her whip, snatches your gun from you. But you do get to make your attack at Narok first.
Nope, in the box. Out of the tray. That is a 21.
Damn. 21 does not connect.
Ooh.
You see, you shoot the pellets out of your gun, and you see them connect and hit into the muscular traps of this werebear, and then just promptly hit the ground. Ting, 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 ting. And then you are disarmed.
Barlow, James will look over to his sister and like, what are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? You're shooting the wrong thing.
Frickin' werebear.
Obviously, he's been that way the whole time. We'll discuss this later.
Anything else for your turn, James?
No, I'm gonna hang out right there.
This one right here is going to run up. It's going to attempt to scratch out Gavin. This desperate fight for life between him and this claw he keeps throwing in a puddle. It has a 9 to hit Gavin, so it tries to cut into you. But as it does, the amorphous flesh shifts out of the way.
Little help here.
I'll give you all the help you need.
I know, but we're trying to keep up an act here. Please, just hold off. Thank you earlier, too.
But that is 21's turn, and that brings us back to Narok. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay. 22. as a 19.
Yeah, you're fine. Take your turn. This
All right.
goblin has grappled your face.
Can I use my claw attack to hit it off of my face?
You let me go to vicious bite. You can make use your action to make an athletics check to remove it, or you can just attack it.
So I'm going to use my claw attack to hit it off.
Okay.
That is a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit. Roll your damage.
That is a 12 for damage.
12. Yeah, he didn't roll 17, so you cut through him. As one last dying act, you slice through, disconnecting the body from the head still attached, suckles for another 4 points of necrotic damage before falling to the ground crushed.
And then we have that other thing, right? The other, the Zoblin.
There's a skeleton. You just killed the only Zoblin.
Okay, so the skeleton.
Yep.
I'm going to use my bite attack.
All right. That poor skeleton.
That is a 25. Yeah.
You slice off this thing, ripping it from your face, and as you just turn around and chomp the entire top half of this skeleton, dealing a whopping
19.
90 mother. Jeez.
Damn.
Dealing a whopping 9 points of damage to this skeleton, as being that most of its body's gone, it doesn't take quite as much damage from this as you think it should, but still a huge chunk of it is missing. Its entire right half of its rib cage in your mouth.
I'm gonna need a placard afterwards.
I believe that causes you to regain a few hit. Done it?
No, I don't think so.
That brings us to Lizette.
I'm going to try and attack that one.
What do you do with the gun that's tangled up in your rib?
Switch it to my other hand? Just hold on to it? Or just drop it at my feet?
What do you do?
Well, what kind of action would it be just to hold on to it?
An item interaction to hold on to the gun?
Item interaction to grab it from my whip then.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to attack that one.
So you bring the whip, yanking it towards you, grab the gun, spinning it above your head and coming down hard onto the
No.
Undead.
Probably not. It's a 9.
undead head in front of you, and tink, slamming into the ground next to it as it almost simultaneously launches to grab Gavin's face.
And I'm going to use bonus action again to convert it to another opportunity.
Understood. Edward Colai, your passive perception currently is a 9, correct? 14 minus 5?
Yes. Actually, yes.
Understood.
Well, yeah, it's
Disadvantage
active.
or combat.
Okay.
Plus, he's not very deceptive.
Oh God. All right. I will face the hand head on, and I will smack it with my quarterstaff.
Okay.
Have at thee.
That? Are you kidding?
Oh no!
I rolled a 7.
A 7?
Might have to
Yeah.
That is a miss with a consequence. It's not a nat 1, but you will roll on the consequence table. So go ahead and roll me a d10.
Right. I feel good about you. That is a weird symbol. 9.
9. So you go to slam your quarterstaff off on the ground, and as you do, at the last second, the hand jumps to the right nimbly, and when it does, it exposes a patch of a board suspended on 2 points, and whenever you hit into this board, it causes your quarterstaff to recoil and hit you in the face. You lose 1 hit dice.
Oh, dang. Oh, I lose 1 hit dice?
Yes.
Ooh, I need those.
What
Okay.
else would you like to do with your turn?
For the rest of my turn, I will, Fenris is going to come up, land on Narok's shoulder, I guess, and give him the help action. He will help the werebear.
Narok, this tasty morsel has landed on your shoulder, but you managed to hold on to your humanity. You remember him. You fed him. Where'd he go? Did you move him? You must have moved him under Narok.
Yeah, he's in
I-
there.
He's in the bottom right corner of him, right here.
Under the beard.
Under the beard.
He's hiding under the beard.
Beautiful. All right,
right here.
Mr. Kolai.
So, I realized that I forgot to put out my mage hand earlier, even though it is invisible. So there it is. It's in that square.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my last little sorcery point of power, and I am going to subtle spell against this one. I'm gonna look at it, and it needs to make a save versus Mind Sliver, which is an intelligence saving throw.
It's going to be really good at those.
I figured it not having a brain, it would have a bad time with that.
So that's a 6 minus 3 for a total of 3.
Perfect. It fails. Hey!
Oh, hey!
All right. It takes 6 points of psychic damage, and it's effectively banned from the next saving throw it makes.
Gavin, you see this thing, it stiffens up and freezes for a second and almost starts to fall to the ground, and then it stands up and angrily turns at you, giving hand signals again.
And then I'm going to invisibly move my mage hand to that square, and that's as far as it can move as of right now.
Okay.
And that will be Edward's turn.
At the end of Edward's turn, you see this purple wall of vegetation on this side lunge out at you
Oh, God.
as it makes 1d4 rotting touch attacks.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
4.
Oh
Oh,
no!
gosh.
That is a 7.
Miss.
A 7.
Miss.
A 14.
Thank God for the shield.
And 21.
Yeah, no, I can't shenanigan my way out of that. The last one hits.
That was cocked. Still cocked. That will be 4 points of necrotic damage.
Ah!
As now you clearly know what desiccated that body.
Am I aware of that thing's presence enough in order to make a sentinel attack, or no?
You said
You are now, but it just
Right, but at the time,
it was
no.
indistinguishable
From,
at
okay,
the
I
time.
just wanted to make sure. That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, John. You said how
4.
much? 4.
4.
Okay. Minus 4. Bam. Okay. That puts me at hurt.
That brings us to Crawling Claw number 10, who is dead. After that, we have the Zoblin, who is dead. Then we have the Violet Fungus that just showed up. It will make 1d4 attacks at Edward.
No.
4.
No.
That is 11.
11 will miss.
19.
At the second attack, Edward's going to look at the rest of his companions, and split second, he's going to cast his first spell of Shield! No. And my AC becomes 20 for the rest of the round. AC of 13 up to 15 with the shield, and then shield for 5.
Gotcha. Okay, so right at 20.
Yeah.
Then we have a 15 and a 15. So yeah, as it just about connects, you unleash this arcane energy, and when you do, the other 3 slide off of this force of spell arcane energy. James Barlow, your Inquisitor senses tingle. There's magic hidden in their hills.
Can I sentinel it now?
Yes. No. Oh wait, no, it's just with an
It's
attack.
sentinel,
Yes.
yeah. I was gonna say what? That's an 18 on the dice plus 7.
It has an AC of 5.
Yay! I can't miss these things.
It's a plant.
I can hit plants really well. That's 10.
Then it's going to move 5 feet closer to Edward because it can.
That's 10.
Oh no.
10.
Slashing.
Understood. As you slam into it, it starts shrieking.
I don't know if it's working.
Oh, that also reminds me, I did get hit, and I am currently concentrating. I believe my hand goes. No, I saved by 1. Saved by 1.
The skeleton will continue to launch itself up towards you, trying to bite you on the collarbone and stab into your chest with its nose. But with a 15 to hit, it cannot overcome your massive northern bear strength. That brings us to level 0. Initiative number 0. Another one emerges from this wall of plants, reaching forward with this unnatural cold at Edward Colon.
No.
Then makes 1d4 attacks.
No.
4.
No.
AC of 20.
4 every time.
19, 7, and 7.
Yay. Shield saves the butt.
It's a good spell. A really good spell.
James Barlow.
Scowling at my sister for still taking my rifle. But he'll reach on his back and pull out his classic ranger thing, his longbow. He looks at the werebear. He sees his friend, then the doctor. Did something weird.
Please! Physician in danger.
He will shoot that one. Plus, but first, favorite foe.
All right.
That is a 11 to hit it.
11 will hit.
That is 15 piercing from the longbow.
Understood. You slam into it with the longbow, and pieces of black ooze go flying out of it. As the black ooze connects with the cave walls, you hear an acrid, sizzling sound. Narok, you swear you smell pudding. Is there anything you'd like to do with your turn? Anything else you'd like to do, James?
Wait a second, hold on. I will reach out, and Edward, you feel this rush of wind go by you as the plant needs to make a strength saving throw.
That's a 5 on the dice, minus 4 for a total of 1.
It is pushed 5 feet away from him.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, that brings us to lucky number 21, who is fighting an invisible hand and Gavin. And he's going to take his swing at Gavin, minus a d4. So that's 11. Minus 2 is 9. Plus 3 is 12 to hit Gavin.
That will not hit Gavin.
That brings us to Narok Barricast.
I was going to try something. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay. Turn around and send the whip flying again.
I want to hit this thing! 17 to hit this thing.
17 hits.
Stupid hand.
Roll down.
Yeah. 8.
8. You chop the whip straight through the first and second digit, but then they stitch themselves back together.
Really?
Narok. I need you to make a saving throw.
Yep. That is a 13.
13, I believe, still saves, right?
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to do with your turn?
I think it just saves.
Yeah, it's the third round. It just saves.
Yeah. I'm going to claw the skeleton I just bit
Okay.
with a 21 to hit.
21 will hit.
That's 18 points of damage.
You slash through this thing and you hear bones cracking and breaking underneath the force of your claws, but it still stands trying to poke you in the belly with its sharpened nubs and angry jaw.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been adding my my rage damage. There's 2 more points to that.
Gotcha.
And then I'm going to go down for my bite. And that's more numbers. So, 15 points, 17 points of damage.
It had 1 hit point left. You chomp through it and you crunch it in your jaws, and the bottom half of the skeleton stands there for a second and then collapses into the ground as you spit the top half on the other side of the room.
All right. Then I am going to turn, look at the room, and do I see the plants?
Yes.
I'm going to use my movement to get down next to Edward.
Going that way, it's going to be difficult to rain every spot because of how crowded and spread people are. So it'll be 10. Let's see here. That'll be 10.
The 20 feet of movement.
30. Yeah, you can get right there.
Okay.
Just because you're like trying to squeeze and push through all these people, you know?
Edward starts breathing as the werebear charges.
Yep.
You feel that warm breath down the back of your neck.
After Narok's turn, bursting through the bushes, you said, I heard that. Holy shit! Oh, my God, by the stairs there's a bear! And he levels his crossbow and takes a shot at Narok and says, it's a freaking bear! Zuka Lagushka!
I'm gonna try to disarm him as well.
That's a 25 to hit Narok.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
7, 8, 9. That'll be 19 points of piercing damage, cut in half to 9.
I don't think I hit Daedrum.
You get
11.
11 does not hit.
Yeah, I figured
You
not.
try to hit his, hey, damn it, girl, what the hell are you doing? And then he looks to the side and says, oh, shit.
Evil plants, evil purple plants, yes, we know.
The bear's on our side. Don't question it.
I said it was 17. That's cut in half to 8 for rage, and then another 4 because of werebear. So you take 4 points of damage from that shot, Narok, after your resistance.
Okay.
So werebear causes you to take half damage from everything that's not silver.
Mm-hmm.
And then rage gives you resistance. So those two actually stack.
Oh, nice.
Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Nice.
I'm having flashbacks to a Sunday game.
Mm. I don't remember what. But, Lizette. Oh, nobody, right?
He's like, I don't know what. I was the DM, but I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Others I couldn't say.
They are completely different. Lizette.
I'm gonna try to attack the purple plant. The
You-
one to the left.
Okay. You try to attack the purple plant.
Trying my best. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20 will not miss.
That is a 8 damage.
8 points of damage.
And then I'm marking it because I can do that.
Okay.
In DMG.
You are marking your target.
Also to Daedrum, bears on our side, purple plants are evil.
You know the thing's flanking you?
Just listen to the elf.
There we go. Mark. I have a button for that. See a little red check?
Yeah. No. But it's covered in the map, by the way.
All right. Anything else?
That's it. Bonus action, feel my reaction. That's it.
Okay, that brings us to 14, where the wall starts wriggling more, and it's going to make 1d4 attacks at Daerden.
No.
3, 1, 16, 2, 12, 3, 20. 2 of those will connect. 7 and 2. He will take 9 points of necrotic damage as this thing starts sucking the very life out of him.
Is that thing visible to me or no?
No, it was
Okay.
indistinguishable when it made these attacks.
Okay, I was gonna say it's also on the other side, and there's like a wall of darkness, so I didn't know if it was on the other side of the vines or not.
Oh, that's right. It did put the wall back for you guys.
I didn't know if the
It's
vines. I
right
didn't see it.
there.
Okay.
It was in his spot. You just couldn't see it because of his token.
Okay.
But that brings us to Gavin.
Okay. A lot happened since my last turn. So, let me double check something real quick. Does that do a thing? No, that does do a thing. Okay. Is there a spot in this room where I could be concealed from James but still have line of sight on the fungi?
It's gonna be a little tough. I would say nope, because these barrels. No, those barrels are still there. If you manage to not touch the barrels and you are on the exact opposite side of the barrels from them, so this one spot right here, you'd be able to to manage it.
Okay. So I just need to be able to get to there?
Yep.
Cool. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, that's 25 feet. I'm going to... Whoa. Make my way over to there. And now that I'm out of his sight, I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast at this guy over here. He's going to hold up his hand. Ink's actually going to come out from his fingertips, cover it. And then a little slit's going to open in the palm of his hand where there's a mouth. And then energy is going to pulse out for the Eldritch Blast.
All right, roll to hit.
That is unnatural 20 to hit.
They have an armor class of 5.
Huzzah. Yeah, I just need to not roll a 1. 7 points of force damage.
And I'm sorry, which one of them were you going for?
The lowest guy here.
Gotcha. 7 points of force damage to him. As he gets attacked and starts shrieking and the entire wall starts to shake.
And Fenris, for my bonus action, is going to come over to Lizette, and he's going to give her the help action, so you have advantage on your next d20 roll.
Yay! I need to buy a familiar.
All right, that brings us to 11, where the last part of the wall will move 5 feet forward.
God damn it.
1d4 attacks at Narok Bear Kiss. 1. That was cocked.
Out of curiosity, did all these fungi grow out of apples? Is that's why they ripped into Edward so easily?
So they were waiting on the back of the all those plants. When you came in, no one looked back at the way you came.
Yeah.
Yeah, you protect the entryway, not the exit. It was fine.
No one thinks about leaving until it's time.
To be fair, I didn't say it was fine. I just moved them aside. I said they weren't poisonous.
Not for us.
With the Zoom chat, Douglas.
Yep.
So that brings us to, it has a 9 to hit Narok. That's not going to happen. Mr. Coli. Darden is strongly saying, "Hide behind me. I will protect you, Doc." He's like grabbing you by the head to push you out of the way.
Edward is going to just scream, and he's going to go 5, 10, and then using my special ability, because I don't believe a word of it yet.
That's going to be 4 attacks of opportunity.
Well, I'm as half movement. I am moving without opportunity attacks thanks to my Mark of Passage.
Ah,
Nice.
so Orien's Grace.
Yes.
You use Orien's Grace to avoid 4 attacks of opportunity.
15 and 20. As I'm just running, and from here I see that there's still a crawling claw there.
Yep.
As my bonus action,
Forgot about that.
I am going to and it needs to make a strength saving throw
Make me. Oh, you're going
with
to
the telekinesis.
Okay,
That is
strength
still-
saving. It's an 8 on the dice. Plus 1 for a 9.
That will fail. And he gets hurled directly back into this wall. No. As I'm running.
Not attacking it, we're just like, just get out of the way.
I'm scrambling. I'm doing the whole cartoonish thing, falling half over, almost on all fours, but not quite. Just running.
All right, that brings us to number 4. Number 4 is going to make 2 attacks at Daerden. 1 is a 7. 2 is a 10. Both are going to miss as it attempts to rend and rot Daerden from the outside in.
I'm just going to start raising my hand for that. 21.
21 will hit.
You take that with advantage?
Oh no, I didn't!
That will be at advantage.
21, it's still 21. So
Still
11
21.
damage to that one.
11, you slice into this thing. Yeah. You cut into this thing. It's barely holding together, oozing this black goo that smells like pudding every time you hit it.
Really weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's no effect at all. Described for no reason. This violet fungus is going to make 1d4 attacks at Daerden. 4, 14, 21,
Damn.
4, and 14. So that'll be 3 hits on Daerden. 5, 2, and 7. So he takes 14 points of necrotic damage. Go ahead and make your swing. As you see Daerden just get latched onto by this purple fungus, he looks like he is aging rapidly.
19 to hit.
19 will hit.
9. She reminds me of our Demon Lord one shot where it's legendary action. it's just my one axe.
Yep. But Daerden looks near death. James Barlow. I will throw out the bloody status on him. Let's see, you're bloody. And you're bloody. And you're bloody. And you're bloody. All right.
Feeling a little different about the group he's with now because he's noticing some things. He doesn't like that three of the two people he's worried about at the moment are in line with him, so he's just gonna take a step back. And then he's gonna shoot.
Sherrock, something has moved out of your reach. Do you choose to take an attack of opportunity?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Just checking.
He's like, what? No.
And then I
You
will.
climb up onto that table, and as you do, it collapses into dust. Those crates do. You find yourself standing amongst broken and dusty gear.
Right. Old. Right. Old. And I'm going to shoot the purple fungus I've got marked. It's, 16.
16 will connect.
That will be 12. 12 piercing.
12 piercing to which one?
The very top one.
Very top one. You send your arrow careening into this fleshy purple ball, and as you do, it snags onto the arrow and gets pinned against the wall and just almost melts and collapses into this black puddle.
Cool. I will then, I think I gotta do it. I'm gonna take my my healing potion.
All right, you heal for 10 points of life. Look.
Glug. And that'll be that.
All right, so that brings us to the littlest crawling claw that could. This thing's going to launch itself at Edward Kalai's face, attempting to latch onto him and rip the jaw off of his mouth. But as it does, it slams, it misses, continues traveling, slams into the barrel, and impales itself on a shard of metal and dies.
Edward continues to scream.
From the impaled hand, you see it just sort of reaching out towards you slowly. Narok.
I am going to take a white attack at this guy. That is a natural 20.
You hit. So that's 20 plus 8 plus your roll.
20 plus 8 plus my roll.
Yep.
Okay.
Your bite's 2d10, right?
Yes.
So that's 20. Your modifier is a 6. You got 2 for rage damage, so that's 28.
Yep.
You roll.
Okay. That's 7.
So 35 points of damage.
Yes.
Yeah. So you reach out and chomp into these things because werebears are stupid strong. I also need you to make a wisdom saving throw at the beginning of your turn.
Yep. That is a 19.
19. But you rend this thing into pieces. It burns you, and as it does, you'll take 7 points of necrotic damage, cut in half to 3, because you bit it specifically. But it nets out of your teeth and mouth and onto the ground. It went from full health to dead.
Good.
It shrieks like a little girl. And he yells out, he says, Tilda, help! There's a monster! There's a bear! Tilda, there's a bear! Keep him safe, Moose and Squirrel! I couldn't help it, I'm sorry. I kind of ruined the mood with the joke.
No, it's good, it's good. My second attack, I'm just out of reach of the one that's right here. But as I make my claw attack, it looks like my shadow extends out and connects.
All right.
And that is a unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20 will hit. So you reach out, you launch in a claw, and as you do, you focus that dark gift within you. And you see the shadow of a man wielding an axe in one hand reach out and carve into this beast.
And that will be a total of 20 damage.
20 damage. Anything else?
That'll do it.
All right. Let's see. So you lost 3 hit points. That brings you to what? 5, right?
Yeah, I'm at 5.
Okay. All right. It brings us to Lizette.
I'm gonna try to attack that one.
All right. Right at 20 feet away from you. Go ahead and make your attack. That'll hit. Even with its 3/4 cover from Daredevil.
Hey, 11.
11 points of slashing damage to it as you see the black goo on the ground starting to coalesce into one larger puddle.
All right. It's also marked.
It's marked. Okay. Why? I don't know.
It's a Dark Souls boss. There's a phase 2.
Not that puddle.
That brings us to its turn. It is going to move. Its movement 5 feet forward and make 1d4 attacks at Daredevil. 2 attacks at Daredevil. Natural 20.
Damn it.
20 non-natural.
There goes Dearden.
So there, dude.
Bye.
11 points of necrotic damage to Bairden as he hits the ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he takes that.
And then it will suck upon feasting upon his life energy as he is on the ground dying.
Thank you for not saying suckle.
Covering him in this moist black goo.
Why?
And they have advantage against it because it's marked, right?
Yes, you have advantage on it because it's marked per the Dungeon Master's Guide.
I don't know how good that is though. That's a 16.
It has an armor class of 5.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
It's a plant.
That is 8.
It's a stupid plant.
It's a scary plant,
Oh,
John.
well, that is a stupid.
It's a
player.
stupid, scary plant. We are in agreement.
8 points of slashing as you cut into this thing, and more of that black goo spreads.
I should be really worried about this.
That is its turn. Gavin.
Well,
And
frick.
Barlow crash through these boxes, and as he takes a shot and then looks over at you.
I'm going to. Okay. Frick. Okay, Daredun's gonna die if I don't do nothing. So. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move up. Am I able to give Deirdre a potion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him. Oh no, wait! I grabbed a healer's kit. That'll just stabilize him. I want him to get out of the way. I'm gonna give him a healing potion.
All right.
So he recovers 10.
Yes, he does.
Um,
I'm still working on what his lingering injury is going to be.
okay. So that's action, bonus action. Mm. Is that a bonus action here? That will make a difference. I can't move him as a bonus action, so I'm going to have bonus action, have Fenris give Lizette the help action again. Because she can do stuff with the whips.
Do me a favor, Mason. Roll a d10.
I appreciate Fenris' help.
That is 5.
5.
It's fine.
Okay, he takes 1 level of exhaustion, and he is his stomach has been ripped open by this plant.
As I bring him back, I'm going to say, don't worry about the bear. The bear's on our side. Work with us here, and Edward will be able to put you back together.
Right? Now look at Edward.
Edward is screaming his head off, staring at the
He'll eventually get around to putting you back together.
That brings us to number 11, which is
Edward.
Edward.
So what he's going to do, seeing somebody actually hit the ground, you see he still looks scared out of his wits. But this sudden semi-calm comes over him as he sees a patient and a wry smile across his face. And, oh wait, here we go.
You're gonna run towards the raging werebear.
Do it, you won't.
5, 10, 15, 20. So, I am going to have my mage hand fly to here, and I'm going to be pulling out my my healer's kit, and my hand is going to invisibly hold on to the healer's kit, and I'm going to act like I'm throwing it. And my healer's kit is going to not very subtly fly across.
So it looks like you're
And as an action, as per the spell, I'm going to manipulate the hand to use the healer's kit to try and give him a d4 of healing as per the medic feat.
Is it a d4? I thought it was different.
It's a D4 if I'm just trying to heal him. If I am bringing them up from 0, I get to add my modifier to it.
Are you talking about from the healer feat or the medic feat?
The medic feat specifically. One second, I have it.
That's during a short rest.
Oh, that one's
The healer feat
It's a
is an
D6.
action. That's a D6 plus
4.
Ah, that's the one.
D6 plus 4 plus however many number of hit die they have.
When you take the talent does stuff too. The talent.
I get to add my intelligence modifier to it. Well, it's not the intelligence modifier. No, that's the Sawbones talent from my advanced background. But that is only available during a short rest.
Mhm.
So I'm going to use my action to manipulate the hand to try and use the healer's kit on him to help him a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. He has as a scout, he has 3 hit dice.
Cool. And
So 3 plus
the D6.
the D6 plus 2, I think.
So that's 2 plus 2 is 4. So he gets 4 healing.
An enchanted medical kit starts wrapping him up, and he starts screaming. And in Astoy, he's saying a prayer for Lady Vengeance to punish those foul wizards who are trying to kill him.
I'm gonna say back in Stoyan, praise be to Miklas, or else your life would be forfeit.
Oh my god.
And he says,
Get your head in the game. There's still fungi.
And then, as part of my movement, let's see, all of these boxes on this pile were smashed, right?
Smashed and covered in whiskey.
This boulder, does it look like I can get cover behind it?
Yeah, you can get some. If you were to go next to the chest.
I'm going to go there.
As you pass by the chest, it's filled with gold. But he's sitting there and he's just sort of, well, let's see, is he broken? He's not broken, but he's just praying, blessed be the arch-seraphs who usher in the day, blessed be the paladins who keep the accursed at bay, and while we toil and pray and rest each day, so a man might survive, we beg all the vines who listen, so the ones below won't rise, blessed be the seraphs who, and he's just repeating that prayer over and over again. That brings us to 4 and 0. 4 is dead. 0 is going to move up. And it's going to make 1d4 attacks. 3. So it's going to make 2 attacks at Darren and 1 attack at Gavin. 6 misses. 21 hits. 20 against Gavin.
That'll hit.
So it does 5 points of damage to him and 7 points of damage to you.
Okay. Noted.
7 points of necrotic damage.
15 to hit.
15 hits.
You see it hit, and you don't see anything. Even Gavin's clothes don't even seem to tear.
10.
10 points of damage.
You guys keep acting weird, you're gonna give my brother an aneurysm.
Speaking of your brother.
Physically having an aneurysm.
What happened? Did your computer die?
This computer
just turned
left
off.
the Zoom.
Oof,
Oh,
we had
no.
Oh, we lost.
Sorry, Ray.
Sorry, Ray. I thought that's what Ray was talking about when he said physically having an aneurysm.
Now I'm having one in game and in person.
I don't know why, but my computer just decided that it wanted to turn completely off.
Do you have your auto screen timer shut off for some reason?
No.
Anyways, James Barlow, what would you like to do?
No,
Okay, so
Android sleep. I don't.
he saw Edward throw this bag, but it didn't look right.
Let's see. With your passive perception -5, with passive perception of 11, you saw the bag throw, but then you saw the bag start wrapping him up and doing things. You also felt that familiar whoosh, like you do.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna disconnect and reconnect, this is the page to do it on. He would like to use a feature that he gets from his background as a former Inquisitor. It's called the Inquisitor's Stare. Once per day, I can auto-succeed an insight check to know if a living creature has less than 10% of its max HP. And I want to stare at the werebear.
The answer is no.
I could talk to Edward about this. Later, have to save the friend. And I'll move my favorite foe to this one.
Alright.
And attack.
In attack, you...
That is a... math has just eluded me.
More than 5?
23. I wanted to say
it. 23 does not miss.
Right, that will be me. 12 piercing to that one.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
You once again pierce through this thing, and your arrow is left in a puddle of this black goo that is coalescing into something solid.
He'll put his bow down, draw his 2 short swords, and move in.
Gotcha. You move in. Anything further?
That's what I got.
The crawling claw makes one final twitch in Edward's direction, turns on itself, makes an obscene gesture off camera.
I return it to it.
And then falls dead. Edward's nemesis for the first combat has fallen.
It's the same hand this entire time.
Yeah.
It has been, yeah, it's chased him all across the board.
If Edward is good at one thing, it's running away.
Okay, he's going to stand up using half of his movement. And he's going to look, and he's going to turn. He's going to say, he's going to shoot the purple thing that's eating him. Trying to, right? Aww. That is 12 plus stuff, so that's gonna hit.
Sounds so sad, John.
It's gonna be 16 plus 3 is 19 points of piercing damage to it. And it also dies in a black, oily puddle. And he says, fuck. Or, crap, I wasn't supposed to say it that many times. I'm sorry. But it runs. He runs out of the room away from the bear. Narok Bearkix, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm. 19 plus 3.
Okay.
Ooh, that's really good because a bunch of prey just ran away from you like a coward.
Mm-hmm.
But it is your turn, I believe. Yeah, everything in the room has died. Since you succeeded on your wisdom saving throw, you're not the biggest threat in the room.
I'm
Yeah,
going to.
things that you transformed?
Huh?
He did say one thing, I believe, when he was trying to push me out of the way as I ran away screaming.
All right, you did.
Edward ignored it completely, but everybody else would have heard him.
I didn't hear. What did he say?
He said, "Get behind me."
Oh, okay. He was tanking.
As an action, I am going to transform back into my Goliath self and stop raging.
All right, you take an action to transform. You take a bonus action to stop raging. You're left sitting there, physically exhausted, breathing heavy, shoulders heaving up and down, chest on fire. But you all are out of initiative.
I'm gonna walk over.
Is this goo still trying to coalesce?
This ooze is coalescing.
This stuff is still coming together.
Do you sit and watch it?
Edward
Perhaps
is
you-
Bring me one of those barrels.
No, not the barrels! And Edward is going to grab this torch that's here,
So I was gonna ask for the doctor.
and he's going to be running over, and he's going to take one good look at that and say, "Nope, that's weird," and throw a torch on it.
I'm going to step away.
He doesn't wait for anybody to do anything. It's as fast as he can get over.
Roll a dexterity saving throw, Mason.
Oh,
What is it?
A dexterity saving throw.
Because Mason's flammable.
Yeah. Well, Mason is not. Gavin is.
Gavin is-
That's a 13, and I can't increase that because I lost a hit die.
The resulting flash from this black, it was a ball of oil. This ball of black oil lighting on fire and exploding out will set you on fire. What will you take? There we go. You're going to take... let's see, who else? Yeah, I would need James Barlow to make the same save as well. Dexterity saving throw. But 5 points of fire damage, Gavin.
I would like to put myself out as quickly as possible.
That is a 21.
21, you're perfectly fine. You see this coming. You work with black powder all the time.
At that, James is going to sheathe his sword, so walk over, pick up his shotgun.
This black ball seemed like a solid pile of wet black powder. And so this room is covered in smoke. You can't breathe, it's heavily obscured. I don't know if you know, but a pea-sized granule of black powder makes enough smoke to cover the same area as an adult elephant. And he just destroyed a ball that big.
I'm walking out. I'm getting out of there.
Oh yeah, right.
We should we should get out of here.
Oh yeah, right. That's a thing. I got it.
Damn it, Edward! Give us time to react next time.
And Edward is going to run out of the room as well. And he is going to pick up his healer's kit on his way out as he passes right over it. And he's going to have his hand follow in on his shoulder, just waiting
Okay.
in case he needs it again.
James says, let's go get his shotgun, so he'd be over here. He's going to take a little bit of his water, pour it on his canteen, wrap it around his head, and he's going to go back to that chest.
It is filled with money.
Yeah, Narok would be going over here to get his axe, and he would offer to help carry the chest out.
Alright, so the two of you work together to grab this chest and bring it out.
Hold on a second.
I don't know if he's gonna let him. He did just turn into a bear.
When you come up behind me, I'll turn around, level the shotgun in your face. Tell me what the hell you are, or I'll blow you away.
was given a dark gift.
Narok, you start coughing uncontrollably.
I was given a dark gift.
He got the COVID.
You got the weeping pox.
Is that a skin disease? Who knows?
While I'm coughing, I would just say, as quick as I can, to grab the chest.
You go first.
Okay, so I suppose I'm dragging the chest alone.
Probably.
Alright, let me just grab this here chest off the map, Leo.
If I see Nerot coming out with the chest, and no one's helping him, I'll help him.
No, James is making him go first. He's got the chest in one hand, the shotgun in the other.
Oh, so just he's leading the way, but you're holding up one end.
Yeah.
I assume that you all are going to go back to the front of the cave where it's not pouring smoke, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, you all go up there with the chest. So will Daredin, poor guy.
And once we get up here, coughing and spitting, near puking and gagging.
Edward, as you exit the room, right on the other side of the wall of vegetation, there sits a cat waiting for you.
I'm gonna look at it and just. Oh, like you could have done any better.
It is sitting on a tiny barrel, and the barrel is shaking.
No! It'll still be in there in an hour. But it is there. It's there. It's there. Stop reminding me! And he's going to just hold his cloak over his head, and he's going to go back in to try and find the open barrel. And he's going to dump out one of his wineskin, or one of his water skins, not his wineskin, because I do have those. Look at it for a second, pull out his second and only other water skin, and dump that out and fill both.
You got it. It's from a very fine whiskey.
And he runs back out.
When you go out, you can hear muffled screaming coming from underneath this barrel that's shaking as the cat just.
I'm going to look up in the air and just sort of think, Pip, what are you?
Get me out of here!
God, you were picking fights with the stupid cats again, weren't you?
You told me to watch.
God damn it, Pip, yeah. And I go over to the barrel and I just open it up.
There is a very beat up looking raven inside.
You know you can't win.
It jumps off, it like flicks its back feet, kicking dirt up on him, and then trots to the front of the cave.
I keep telling you these things. You can't win. They're evil. Little vile darkness riddled, and he starts muttering nonsense for
It
about
turns
a minute.
towards you. It looks to see all of your companions walking away towards the front of the cave. It opens up a tentacled mouth.
I take out my nerve
And then just jumps back in and looks like a regular cat again.
You see him attempting to chase this cat out of the cave with one of his only weapons is a Nurian hook. It is a small little rod with a point on one end for like piercing into things, and then it has a somewhat barbed hook on the other end. Good for tripping people and disarming people, but that's about it. And so he's just chasing a cat around with this thing.
Full on flirting.
Terrifying, you evil spawn of Satan!
Edward, why are you always chasing cats?
They're evil little creatures.
It like runs up to you, Gavin, and like rubs on your legs and tries to hide behind you.
Yes, you be nice right now. Yeah, I know your true face. I've seen it.
Edward, it's a cat. Just
It's
I'll-
an evil piece of.
I pick up the cat, kind of cradle it, and then I'll put it outside. All right.
Like that would stop it. We'll be walking through the walls next. I've seen it. I've seen these things. And he's going to go and like just sit down, and he's going to start drinking. That's right. That's right.
Go, and as I'm walking along, it's like, oh, who's a good kitty? Are you missing your home? Is that it?
Boots your nose.
Oh. All right. Well, go on home. Go on. Go on.
It wanders 10 feet out of the cave and then turns and sits. It just sort of spins in a circle and lays down on its paws.
Well, I suppose if that's where you want to rest. Do we have any extra scraps?
Nothing will sate its unsatiable hunger. It's evil, I tell you. Evil.
We don't have any scraps, I'm sorry. We'll maybe get you in the morning for breakfast.
There, then he sort of stumbles out and collapses next to Tilda, who immediately runs up to him. Oh my God, are you all right? I am fine. I had to save them from all the beasties. It was terrible. I almost died twice. It was horrible. But we all made it out alive. Hey, Doc!
I'm going to stand up. After getting a little bit into my newest whiskey skin, I'm going to say, yes, is it time to practice medicine? And just sort of wobble a little bit over. And I'm going to head up to him. I'm going to say, okay, point to where it hurts, as I'm holding out a scalpel.
While he's doing this, James and Narok, you've carried this chest out. What would you like to do?
You call it a dark gift. I call it heresy.
Lizette, you see your brother holding Narok at gunpoint.
Is he bothering you, Narok?
You are a threat to this entire group.
Guys, what's going on here? I thought we was all friends.
We are. My brother's lost his mind again.
I didn't lose anything, Lizzie.
What was in there? There was a monster or something? There was a terrible bear. It was so big. It was so big. It was the biggest bear you've ever seen, at least 20 foot tall.
Don't listen to him. He's delusional. He's lost a lot of blood.
There was a lot of smoke in there as well. We accidentally set some things on fire. There was some fungi and a few minor undead. But there's a bit of smoke back there. I think he's just inhaled some fumes. I think he was hallucinating a little bit there.
James and Narok?
Narok looks down at the gun, looks at James and goes, if I'm the threat, why are you holding the gun towards one of us? And I pull the bolt out of my arm, and I toss it on the ground.
I'm not the one that turned into a bear.
Did I try to kill you?
The answer's no, James. He didn't. You know about these things. Just
He
like
could
I
have.
But he hasn't this entire 2 weeks he's been with us.
Yeah, and it's the first time he's lost it and clearly turned into this curse that he has. This isn't right. This isn't natural.
Well, to be fair, what is these days? There's undeads roaming the night. There's God knows what happens up north with that horrible freezing whatever it is. Not to mention the horrors of the war. And he goes like really dark for a second before just shaking his head and going back to his work on the Eridan.
Kind of walking up a little bit closer to James. Gavin kind of leans and says, Mr. Barlow, I can understand your hesitancy. but we are not exactly in a land that's full of natural things.
Exactly, and that's why it needs to be purged. It is all threat to the normal people, the people who are just trying to survive.
He has made no action so far of violence against us. Until we have good reason to, I believe it would be fair.
The fact that he's a werebearer enough for you.
The fact that he has been nothing but cordial this entire time. The fact that while he did transform into a bear, he did so to protect us, should at least merit him some trust. Not permanently, but at least for now.
I'm just trying to figure it out. Until I do, I'm going to keep this weapon pointed at him. I'm just trying to talk. If I wanted him dead, he'd be dead.
Conversation tends to be... Conversation...
On other sides of camp, for the time being. I mean, you can still watch him, right? And in the meantime, he serves as a big meat wall in front of all the other things. That is what we hired him for.
Listen, I am an honorable man. He did protect. But that doesn't make it any less worrying of what he might be and what he might do. You have to understand, I've haunted these things. I've seen what wild ones will and can do. It's only a matter of time. Mark my words, all of you. Gavin and Edward, don't think I didn't see things either. I'll be talking to y'all later. James is going to lower his gun and we're going to sit by the cave entrance.
James leaves you all standing around this really big chest.
I'll have to go to James when he goes to sit down, because I stay by Narok, because he's fine. I tell James telepathically, you better have another gun pointed at me if you point one at him again, because if you're being this hypocritical, you're traveled with me this whole time and it was perfectly fine. You have no reason to not trust him when you trusted me this entire time.
The only reason he's alive is because you stepped it away.
Ms. Barlow, is your brother always like this, or is it just the exhaustion of travel?
He's very particular about things not being natural.
Well, I suppose for now, things are at least at peace. Suppose we can at least be grateful for that. Do you know if he's likely to lighten up?
Maybe?
So, I see a chest over there. Right? Like, well, what's going on with that chest?
Oh, yes, what is with this chest? Why did you go back in and drag it back out?
Well, I saw the other guy grabbing it, and he looked like he needed help.
Ah. Well, perhaps we should see what's inside it. I'll plop it open.
You plop it open, you see a letter and many coins. Many lira.
Does the letter look like it has a formal seal on it?
It does. It's marked with the same seal as the outside of the chest, the seal of the Crimson Court. Opening it up, you look, and you see that this is a record of levied taxes from a nearby city called Anvermere. It is complete with names and amounts. Doing some quick math, because you're not stupid, you figure that inside this chest there is 70 gold pieces, 70 lira, 210 silver pieces, and 1,400 copper pieces. This is the taxes from Andromir, which was on its way to the nobles of the land. You also see that this is the second taxes levied against the citizens of this province this year. It's a double bleed year. And if things, and with your knowledge of noble courts and whatnot, if this doesn't make its way to the proper people, it'll be a triple bleed year.
They'll have to pay a third.
Yeah, you'll have to play 3 times. But you have found the taxes of the city of Andromir.
Okay.
You figure it's nearby because you found them here.
Right. Okay.
And how much was it again?
I will post it in the chat, but a lot.
Gotcha.
70 gold pieces, 210 silver pieces, and 1,400 copper pieces.
Wow.
While you guys are going through the chests, Narok walks to the other side of the cave from where you guys are, and lays down and falls asleep.
Okay.
During the next hour, Edward is going to go ahead and treat anybody that needs it. He can treat, during the course of a short rest, he can actually treat lingering wounds and such if it is required as a part of his feat.
Ah, yes. Daredin has a lingering wound.
And while treating Darren, he assures him that what he saw was nothing else but the use of one of a magical item that, much like what we had transferred in the smuggling run, and nothing more.
Ah. He looks terrified. And he looks particularly, he is watching Narok carefully. As he had no clue that Narok and the bear were the same thing until James just said it.
All right. Well, Gavin's gonna set up a tent.
Yeah, you set up your tent.
Yep.
I have a tent as well I want to set up. If not, I just have a bedroll. I do have a tent.
What should we do in consideration to this money? It looks to be taxes from a nearby town. If these taxes actually don't get turned in, the town's going to be taxed.
Money. Darren's like, you know, I bled for that chest. I didn't know the chest was in there, but I almost died for that.
Yes, and your share is being covered by the medical expertise that I am currently giving you. Unless you would rather have my build later. As I continue to sew up his stomach.
How's your HMO?
Do you work with all health insurance plans, or are there certain plans that don't
I am
afford
sorry,
you?
I am not covered in the province of Castanella. It's a regional thing, and if you are from the Great North, then there is a premium.
Gotcha. Understood.
You get a discount if you're from Leasage.
But this looks to be taxes for this specific town. Chances are, if this does not get to the nobles, the town will end up getting taxed again, which... we're going into winter, right? It's getting into winter season?
Yes, you're in the height of autumn. Currently.
Gotcha. I'm assuming that given with how we would probably know how this stuff works to some degree, if they get taxed a third time, that's probability of a poor town probably is gonna have some people not make it through winter because they can't afford to keep living. So I believe this region, they survive on trade a lot.
Didn't we say that this chest was like 500 years old?
Everything in the room around it looks old. It looks fine. Darden also looked near 500 years old there for a few seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the fungus.
The fungus.
There is a terrible fungus among us.
Frick, where would these taxes be going from this city? Is there a collection outpost or anything that's within? No.
We're near.
It'd be going straight to Novostoya.
Yes, it would be headed eventually to Novostoy. Unless the local lord had a manor around here, but you don't know.
Yeah, we don't know any of that.
From here.
Did we pass through this town on the way southward?
Nope.
And we're headed to Castlelore, right?
Castlelore.
Castlelore?
Castlelore, which is way up in Riviere.
Castlelore is in the southeastern part of the map. Castlelore is the northeastern part.
So we're not
of
going to the same.
Rainbow. They're literally as far away from each other as they can be in this country.
So if we wanted to return it, we'd be going back almost where we came from, sort of.
Or take it back to the town, and then they just have to deal with whatever fallout there is. Or we keep it and say, screw you to this entire town.
If we returned it, would the people even believe that we're returning it for good reason and not that we're the ones that took it and just changed our mind?
If we were going to steal it, why would we return it? I mean, even if they decide that we not to believe us, they're going to be taxed again. At least this way they would have the money, and there's a chance that the town wouldn't be destroyed, or at least that people would be able to make it through winter.
I think my connection just went out.
No, I can still hear you.
Yeah, we still got you.
Uh-oh.
I think it looks like Lizette and Edward froze there.
Looks kind of like they're coming back.
There we go. We're getting them back.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, I was saying, even if they choose not to believe us, that they would still at least have the money they need to be able to pay taxes when they come back around for their third attempt.
Look, I don't know about you, but I don't want to give all this gold to some Somans, right? Like, where's your national sense of pride?
Didn't Riebo and Soma originally used to be a singular nation?
He has point.
Yes, we were a singular nation before the vampires came and tried to turn us all into cattle.
But in that sense, you have no care for your brothers and sisters who lay under the rule of the vampires.
That is him. He only cares about the gold. Astoy, this is the land of our own. We are the only free people in all of Etharis. We must stand together. Tilda says, I don't know, that kind of gold could really change your life. It is a lot of gold. But I do not know this Anvermere. I never hear of this land. Do you know Anvermere?
Oh, no, does anyone
You
have a
know.
map?
No. Map. No one make map.
Strange.
Strange. There is no map. You walk the land, you die.
That's fair.
Who's going to make map?
I had to
The
call the ones
vampires,
that
they can
tried.
walk the land just fine.
So, Lord DM,
Yeah.
with the stuff we kind of ended up rolling for my background, I am supposed to have like friends every frickin' where. Do I know of any persons who are from this particular region of Astoya?
No, you do not. This is a poor region of Astoya.
Okay.
Your friends roam in higher circles.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Astoy. Your friends in Castelor.
Okay.
Did you have to flirt with my guild for any work or anything like that?
No, this is too far from the war lines.
Okay. I didn't know if my guild was mercenary guild.
No, this is too far from the war lines.
Okay.
How far out would Anvermere be from here?
I don't know what this paper say.
What does the paper say?
It doesn't.
I'm about to switch to the Aldir's accent.
It's a tax record, so it says, you know, this citizen, Dela Garenthal paid X amount, and this person paid X amount, and this family paid this amount. It's tax records.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to even return it, we have to find the city.
Mm-hmm. Are there any towns, period?
Hi everyone. Sorry about that. Some minor technical difficulties right there at the end. So I appreciate you guys watching and coming over and seeing us on our Twitch account, but please be sure to come visit us on YouTube and interact with us on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we will be more than happy to talk to you, answer any questions about either Grim Hollow or us in the game. We cannot wait to see you guys on Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST or 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, remember, Douglas's character, Dr. E. coli, his characters can, his cats can have interaction outside of the fourth wall. So the more you're active and feed that information to our DM, the more you guys get to have an impact on our game. Anyways, thank you for sticking around with us and watching, and have a great rest of your